Chapter 1657. The young girl hesitated for a moment before gathering her courage and walking up to Yun Ruoshui. She said timidly, "Thank you for just now. If not for Yun Ruoshui's help, she would have lost her chastity to that bastard." Ning Xian raised her eyebrows and turned to look at Yun Ruoshui, clearly asking her what had happened. "Mother, that person just now was one of the accomplices who kidnapped us. He wanted to humiliate this big sister. Shuai couldn't stand it and quarreled with him. Then, she couldn't control herself and killed him." Yun Ruoshui pursed her lips and teared up. Shuai really didn't do it on purpose. He was the one who made the mistake first. Ning Xian sighed. She could not bear to blame Yun Ruoshui, and instead hugged her petite body tightly. "Shuai, believe in me. One day, I will make your body no different from a normal person." Yun Ruoshui nodded hurriedly. Suddenly, she seemed to have thought of something and turned to look at the house full of young boys and girls. She smiled innocently. "I've said it before, my family will definitely come to save me. As long as they come, what can the ferocious tiger bandits do?" The crowd was speechless. After a long while, a young girl spoke up in a timid voice. "The ferocious tiger bandits have a very powerful background. Many forces on the mainland are related to them. If we offend them, we will definitely suffer. The power behind the ferocious tiger bandits?" Just at this moment, a cold and demonic voice sounded from outside the house. After a while, a girl dressed in white walked in slowly. Her beautiful face curled into a sinister smile. "I wonder what kind of power is behind the ferocious tiger bandits." The young girl was stunned. She only knew that the power behind the ferocious tiger bandits was very powerful. As for how powerful it was, she did not know. The Wind Cloud residents of the Peerless Empire, the Lu family of the Tianhui Empire, the Heavenly Sound sect of the Luyu Empire, and she glanced at the young girl speechlessly, then turned to look at Yun Luofeng and told him everything she knew. "In addition, I heard that the ferocious tiger bandits are also related to the Chu family of Endless City." Yun Luofeng narrowed his eyes and smiled. "Second aunt, do you understand? I've already destroyed the Chu clan. As for the other forces, I'll leave them to you. The ferocious tiger bandit group has committed all sorts of crimes, and the other forces that are connected to them must have also committed heinous crimes. I should also return peace to the Wuhui continent." Everyone was stunned. This woman has such a big tone. Just because of a disagreement, she said that she would destroy so many powerful forces in the Wuhui continent? Where did she come from? What's more, she just said that the Chu family had already been destroyed by her. The youth called Wu Yen quietly looked at Yun Luofeng, his eyes twinkling. "No one knew what he was thinking, mother." Yun Ruoshui blinked and turned to look at Yun Luofeng. "Who is this sister? Why did it give her such a familiar feeling?" Ning Xian smiled as she stroked Yun Ruoshui's head. "She's the cousin Mom and Dad mentioned to you." Yun Ruoshui's eyes immediately lit up. Only the heavens knew that she had wanted to meet this cousin whose name shook the entire continent for a long time. She never thought that she would meet her at such an occasion. She was so excited that she could not stop herself from jumping up and down. "Cousin," she struggled out of Ning Xian's embrace and walked to Yun Luofeng's side, her face innocent and pure. "Shuai often hears father and mother talk about your heroic deeds, so you have always been Shuai's idol, and also the goal that Shuai has always strived for." Chapter 1658. Yun Luofeng lowered his head to look at the childish face of the child in front of him. His heart seemed to have been struck by something and was instantly filled with tenderness. "Your name is Yun Ruoshui? You can just call me Shuai," Yun Ruoshui said, giggling. Yun Luofeng's lips curved into a smile. Her finger gently pressed against Yun Ruoshui's brow. At this moment, Yun Ruoshui felt that his hand was like a thorn, fiercely stabbing into the space between her eyebrows. Soon after, a warm stream of spiritual energy flowed from the space between her eyebrows to her entire body, making her feel extremely comfortable. "Second aunt," Yun Luofeng turned to look at Ning Xian. Her body is a little special. I can only use this method to temporarily suppress the spiritual energy in her body. When I find another way, I will come back to help her. From the first time he had seen Yun Ruoshui, Yun Luofeng had sensed that something was wrong with her body. If this continued, in a few years, Yun Ruoshui would be swallowed up by the black spiritual energy in his body. Ning Xian's heart was filled with worry when she heard this. Feng are you unable to help Shui? Actually, Yun Luofeng paused for a moment, then slowly said, it's not that there's no way to save her. I have the ability to make the black spiritual energy in her body completely disappear. But if I do that, she will no longer be able to cultivate and will definitely become a piece of trash. Ning Xian's face lit up. She did not care about her daughter's talent. As long as her daughter was safe, that was enough. However, before she could speak, Yun Ruoshui hastily interjected. No, Shui doesn't want to be a cripple. If Shui becomes a cripple, then I won't be able to follow in my cousin's footsteps. I absolutely don't want that. Ning Xian's heart trembled. She wanted her daughter to live, but she did not want to go against her own wishes. Feng is there any other way? Yun Luofeng shook his head. I agree with Shui. I don't recommend completely eradicating the spiritual energy in her body. Instead, we should make it our own. Not only will it not harm Shui, it will also become her strength. However, I don't have the ability to do this for now, Ning Xian sighed. Feng when you can help Shui, will Shui still be alive? If her daughter could not survive, then she would rather her daughter become a cripple, and she would take care of her for the rest of her life. I have already sealed the spiritual energy in her body so that it cannot affect her body. However, I can only seal her for 5 years at most. Within 5 years, I will find a way to help Shui. Yun Luofeng pondered for a moment, then continued, if I can't help her in 5 years, then I will help her get rid of this spiritual energy. Ning Xian's body stiffened. She lowered her eyes to look at Yun Ruoshui's youthful face, and made up her mind. All right, I'll listen to you. Yun Ruoshui wasn't too worried. She smiled innocently. Cousin, you're so powerful. You'll definitely be able to help Shui. Shui believes in you. Shui believes in you. The girl's tender voice made Yun Luofeng's heart more and more determined. Just this one sentence alone was enough for her to help her. Wait for me for 5 years. 5 years later, I will definitely make Shui a peerless genius. Ning Xian looked at Yun Ruoshui, then back at Yun Luofeng. Her clear eyes were filled with determination. Shui in the future, Feng will not only be your cousin, but also your master. Do you understand? In the future, no matter how great your achievements are, you must remember that all of this was given to you by Feng. Your life was also given to you by her. Yun Ruoshui nodded confusedly. Mother, Shui understands. Chapter 1659. If the person who said this was someone else, Ning Xian would not have believed them. But because it was Yun Luofeng, she believed that Yun Luofeng had the ability. The 2 members of the ferocious tiger bandits were already trembling in fear from Ning Xian and Yun Luofeng, unable to speak. They were still wondering why Lady Rui was not here yet. Although they had seen the strange phenomenon in the sky, they did not think much of it. They did not know that the spiritual beasts were here for the ferocious tiger bandits. If I'm not wrong. Wu Yen was silent for a while, then looked up at Ning Xian. You're from the Ye family. I heard that the Ye family's granddaughter-in-law's surname is Yun, and the second master's wife is called Ning Xian. I wonder if that person is you? Ning Xian narrowed her eyes and smiled. You sure know a lot. The young man smiled. There's nothing on this mainland that I don't know. Oh. Ning Xian raised an eyebrow. Then how did you end up in the hands of the ferocious tiger bandits? The young man's eyes flashed. Even a horse stumbles, I was just careless. Clearly, he did not want to say anything more. Since you're the second master's wife, then. The young man slowly turned his head, his gaze landing on Yun Luofeng. You're the god of plagues of the limitless mainland, the master of the medicine tower, Yun Luofeng. Wow. The crowd was shocked. In the limitless mainland, they may not have heard of Ning Xin, or know who the number one genius of the Ye family was, but they would definitely know the name Yun Luofeng. From centenarians to 3-year-olds, they could all recite Yun Luofeng's deeds. Although she was called the god of plagues, she was the faith of the entire mainland. Especially years ago, Yun Luofeng, in a fit of rage, destroyed the 3 major forces of Endless City for his disciple. Even now, it was a story that people loved to talk about. The 2 members of the bandit group were scared silly. They were so scared that they peed their pants. Their pale faces were full of fear. The Ye family? Yun Luofeng? Oh my god, what kind of powerful person did they provoke this time? Compared to the frightened people, Yun Ruoshue's smile was even brighter, like a ray of sunlight that shone brightly. See, I've said it before, to my family, the ferocious tiger bandits are nothing. Do you believe me now? The crowd was silent. A moment later, the young girl who had initially questioned Yun Ruoshue stood up and bowed deeply in front of her. I'm sorry, I didn't recognize Mount Tai. Please save me, I want to go home. Yun Ruoshue wasn't the type to hold a grudge. The premise was that the other party didn't cross her bottom line. Therefore, she smiled embarrassedly at the girl's apology. I've said that I'll save you, so I'll definitely bring you out of here. Yun Ruoshue lifted her head and looked at Wuyan. Brother Wuyan, where's your house? I'll get my mother to send you back. Ning Xian frowned and subconsciously glanced at the young man's handsome face. She could tell that her daughter was special to the young man named Speechless. However, the young man was too mysterious. He was so mysterious that she did not want her daughter to interact with him. Speechless was silent for a long time before he said, My parents passed away and I'm alone. Ning Xian sneered. You have no parents, how would you know so much about the continent? You even said that there's nothing on this continent that you don't know? Chapter 1660. Wu Yen fell silent. He seemed to be thinking about something. After a long pause, he seemed to have made up his mind as he stared fixedly at Yun Luofeng. I want to talk to you in private. Feng. Ning Xian's heart clenched when she heard this. She looked at Wu Yen warily, afraid that he would harm Yun Luofeng. On the contrary, Yun Luofeng's lips curled into a smile. Second aunt, please take the others out first. I want to talk to him in private. Ning Xian was still a little hesitant, but in the end, she chose to believe in Yun Luofeng's decision. Shuai, let's go. Don't disturb your cousin. She swept her gaze across the children. Now that you're free, I'll send someone from the Yi family to escort you home. Then, she shot a sharp glare at the 2 members of the ferocious tiger bandits. You dared to kidnap my daughter. You must pay the price. Whoosh. In that instant 2 spiritual beasts swooped down from the sky and landed in front of Ning Xian. Take these 2 and bring them back to the Yi family for further punishment. Once everyone had been dealt with, Ning Xian stepped out of the room and left the space for Yun Luofeng. Yun Luofeng smiled as he gently stroked his chin. Now you can tell me who you are. I can't tell anyone about my identity. Wu Yen raised his head, his pitch-black eyes filled with determination. However, I hope that you can accept me. If you accept me, I'll definitely be of help to you in the future. Help? Yun Luofeng chuckled. Someone has placed a seal on your body. How can you help me? The youth's expression froze. He had clearly expected that he would not be able to hide the condition of his body from Yun Luofeng. I believe that you have a way to help me remove the seal. Reason? Give me a reason? Or should I say, what do I get out of helping you? Yun Luofeng would never do anything that did not benefit him. Thud. Wu Yen suddenly knelt on one knee and said respectfully, I have nothing to give you. The only thing I can give you is my life. If you are willing to promise me, from now on, my life belongs to you. Alright, I agree. The woman's evil voice was like a light breeze that entered Wu Yan's ears. Speechless widened his eyes in disbelief as he stared at the woman in white in front of him. She agreed? Why? Everyone said that Yun Luofeng was vicious and merciless, cold and merciless. Why didn't she ask for the reason? Why didn't she understand his identity before agreeing to his request? This was too illogical. With that thought in mind, Wordless felt uneasy. Aren't you going to ask about my identity? If you don't want to tell me, I won't force you. I've always trusted my intuition. Her intuition had always been accurate. For example, when she picked up the little boy that she named Wu, her instincts told her that there must be something wrong with that boy. Thank you. Wu Yan's voice was a little hoarse. I can't tell you my identity now. When the time is right, I will tell you the truth. However, I can promise you that I will never betray you in this life. The youth's eyes were bright, so bright that they were as dazzling as the sun. I still have something to do, so I can't bring you with me. Now, my task for you is to stay in the Yi family and accompany Shui as she grows. Chapter 1661. The youth was stunned. The mission that Yun Luofeng had given him was to accompany a little girl? Wasn't this a little overkill? Master, even though my strength has been sealed, there are still other uses for me to follow you. Yun Luofeng frowned. I don't like anyone questioning my decisions. If you don't carry out my orders, I can only ask you to leave. The woman's words were sinister and cold, causing the youth's heart to tremble. He lowered his head. Wu Yan is willing to obey Master's orders. Given my current powers, I still can't remove the seal for you. Give me some time, and I'll think of a way to help you. Yun Luofeng glanced at the youth, and a light flashed across her eyes. Just now, the voice of the Tree of Life by Shao had sounded in her mind. Master, this youth isn't from this world, not from this world? What do you mean? Bai Shao hesitated for a moment and sighed. There are all sorts of strange things in this world. In this world, there are naturally countless continents. The seal in this youth's body is a little special. Master, with your current powers, you can't help him. You can only remove the seal when you're stronger. However, before Yun Luofeng could ask for more details, Bai Shao continued. Youth, there are some things that I won't tell you that are also very beneficial to you. I won't say much. You just have to know that your current powers are still not strong enough. Yes. Her current powers were still not strong enough. Only by becoming stronger would she be able to help Shui and even more friends and family. Many people had already gathered on the street. When they saw Rui and the others being escorted out by the Yi family's spiritual beasts, their eyes were filled with shock. Especially when there was a group of kids following behind them who were still wet behind the ears. You may leave. Ning Xian turned to look at the children behind her. The Yi family's spiritual beasts will send you home. Some of the children left gratefully, but there were still some who hesitated and did not leave. Ning Xian raised her brows. You're not planning to go home? The girl who had initially questioned Yun Ruoxue was silent for a moment before saying, My parents have already been killed by the ferocious tiger bandits. After saying this, tears welled up in her eyes. When the ferocious tiger bandits wanted to kidnap me, they were discovered by my parents. In for a penny, in for a pound, in for a pound. They killed my parents and even pushed their corpses down the cliff. The girl's cries infected Yun Ruoxue, and her eyes reddened. Mother, she is so pitiful. Let's help her. Ning Xian frowned and looked at the other children. What about you guys? Hearing this, the group of children explained one after another. Some of the children had no parents to begin with and had been begging outside. They had undoubtedly been targeted by the ferocious tiger bandits, while others had been sold at a low price by their relatives who lacked money. They would rather not return to that kind of place. Otherwise, they would not be able to escape the fate of being sold. Miss Ning, I beg you, don't send me back. A girl hurriedly knelt in front of Ning Xian and cried pitifully, That year, my uncle was sick. My father was eaten by a spiritual beast while he was picking herbs for him. My mother also died from grief, because of my father's passing. I was adopted by my uncle and aunt, but my aunt sold me to the ferocious tiger bandits so that my cousin could marry a wife. Sob, sob, I don't want to go back. Chapter 1662. Yi Jun had always abhorred evil. When she heard the girl's cries, her face turned red with anger. How can there be such cruel and unscrupulous people in this world? Aunt Ning Xian, let's take these children in. The Ye family has a large business, and we don't lack people. Ning Xian furrowed her brows. After a long while, she relaxed. I will send someone to investigate the situation. If it's true, the Ye family will take you in. If I find out that you're lying, I won't be merciful even if you're children. She would never allow anyone to harm her family. The girl smiled through her tears. Thank you, Miss Ning. Thank you, Miss Yi Jun. Yun Ruoshui stepped forward and helped the girl up. She blinked lightly. Do you want to settle the score with your uncle and aunt? The girl was stunned and quickly nodded. My father died because of him, and before he died, he asked his companions to bring the medicinal herbs to him. Otherwise, he would have died a long time ago. However, they were ungrateful and betrayed me. How could I not want to get even with them? Mother, Yun Ruoshui looked up at Ning Xian. Her large, watery eyes were filled with innocence. Why don't you take her as your disciple and teach her how to cultivate? Ning Xian was stunned. This girl was quite talented. If she was taught well, she would be successful in the future. Furthermore, she would never reject her daughter's requests. All right, I will impart the cultivation method to the children who are left behind today. How far you can break through will depend on your own talent and hard work. Ning Xian paused. If you can break through to the level I want you to in 5 years, from now on, the Yi siblings and Shui will be under your protection. Yun Ruoshui and Yi Jun were still young. These children were the most suitable to be their guards, of course. All of this depended on their achievements. The children were overjoyed. They never thought that they would have the chance to enter the Ye family and receive Ning Xian's personal guidance. They even had the chance to become the Ye family's followers. Just as Ning Xian finished speaking, Yun Luofeng walked over with Wu Yan. Wordless Sword's previous indifferent composure was replaced by a respectful expression on his handsome face. Feng Ning Xian walked quickly to Yun Luofeng's side. How was it? Did you find out where this little guy came from? Yun Luofeng shook his head. This matter is not important. What is important is that he will stay in the Yi clan and protect Shui. If it had been someone else, Ning Xian would have rejected the arrangement without asking about the other party's identity. But the person in front of him was Yun Luofeng. She believed that whatever decision Yun Luofeng made was correct. Okay. Ning Xian agreed without hesitation. Yun Luofeng raised the corners of his lips. Even though Wu Yan's strength had been sealed, he believed that Shui would definitely be safe with him by her side. Brother Wu Yan, Yun Ruoshui smiled innocently, looking adorable and innocent. From now on, we're friends. Friends? Speechless was stunned. He lowered his head and looked at the girl's outstretched hand. A string in his heart seemed to be plucked. So, he could also have friends? For some reason, he held Yun Ruoshui's small hand. It was also at this moment that he made up his mind. Even if he had to exhaust his life, he would use his entire life to protect that innocent smile on the girl's face. Chapter 1663. Feng old man, you and second uncle miss you very much. Ning Xian's gentle gaze fell on Yun Luofeng. Do you want to go back with me? All right. Yun Luofeng nodded slightly. After 5 years, she really should go back and meet the old man and second uncle. Country of wind and cloud. On top of a mausoleum, Yun Qingya sat on a hillside with a pot of wine in front of him. He held a jade-colored flute in his hand and gently blew on it. In front of him, there were 3 tombs. 2 of the tombs had obviously just been moved, but the words on the tombs were especially dazzling. On these 2 tombstones there were 2 vertical lines of words. Yun Tian's tomb. Bai Ling's tomb. Yun Qingya quietly looked at the 3 tombstones, her clear eyes filled with sorrow. Big brother, big sister-in-law, the old man and I have already left the dragon-howling continent and moved your graves to the side of General Wen's tombstone. Yun Qingya's handsome face carried a faint smile. I believe that in the underworld, you have already heard about Fenger's deeds over the years from the general, and you all. You can be at ease. Not only has Fenger found a good husband, her own strength has also transcended the secular world. If you were still here, you would definitely be gratified by her current achievements. Oh right, big brother. I forgot to tell you that I'm already married. My wife is very beautiful and I love her very much. My daughter is innocent and cute, and she is also my flesh and blood. If you were here, you would definitely be happy for me. In this world, there aren't many people that I admire. Big brother, you and sister-in-law are 2 of them. Your heroic nature and sister-in-law's heroism are not inferior to a man's. Both of them are moving. When the day comes, I will also be able to meet you 2 in the underworld. Big brother, sister-in-law, General One, let me toast you. Yun Qingya put down the jade flute, picked up the wine cup in her hand, and scattered it on the ground. Suddenly, the cry of an eagle came from ahead. Yun Qingya raised her eyebrows and looked over. In an instant, a group of eagles with the Yi family's emblem appeared in his line of sight. At the same time, the people standing on the eagle's back also reflected in his eyes. Exener brought Shuer back? Yun Qingya's lips curled up. He was about to speak when he suddenly saw the white-clothed woman standing beside Ning Xian. Fenger. He was startled for a moment, and a hint of joy appeared in his originally sad eyes. Fenger's home. 5 years, God knows how much her relatives in the Wuhui continent missed her in the past 5 years. Unfortunately, this girl had been gone for 5 years, and there had been no news of her at all. Even the members of the Yun family who had confidence in her strength could not help but worry for her second uncle. Yun Luofeng also saw Yun Qingya standing below. With a leap, he jumped off the eagle's back. Second uncle, why are you here? Yun Qingya smiled. Ever since your parents' graves were moved here, I've basically had to come and talk to them every month, and General One. Back then, he risked his life to save Yi Jingchen, so I should come and visit him often. Hearing Yun Qingya's words, Yun Luofeng slowly turned around and discovered the grave behind him. Father, mother, I'm back. She faintly raised the corner of her lips. I haven't come to visit you for many years. Do you blame me? However, Yun Luofeng paused for a moment. Bai Xiao said that there are countless wonders in this world. If there really is an underworld in this world, then even if I have to turn the underworld upside down, I will still save you. Chapter 1664. Yun Qingya laughed bitterly. How could a place like the underworld exist? This was just the imagination of the people of the world in order to mourn for their loved ones, however. He did not interrupt Yun Luofeng. His clear eyes stared at the woman's determined face as the corners of his lips curled up slightly. Big brother and sister-in-law would definitely be extremely gratified to see the current Fenger's previous chapter next chapter. Boom. At this moment, a loud sound suddenly came from the city not far away, causing the entire ground to tremble. What happened? Yun Qingya's expression darkened. She slowly turned her head and looked at the dust in front of her. Her eyes gradually turned cold. Ning Xian descended from the sky and stood beside Yun Qingya. Her expression was also filled with seriousness. The place where the commotion came from seems to be the Yi family. Yi family? Just as these 2 words fell, Yun Luofeng, who had been standing beside them a moment ago, suddenly disappeared. Her body was like a bolt of lightning as she quickly shot out. Big brother Yun, let's go take a look as well. Even after 5 years of marriage, Ning Xian was still used to calling Yun Qingya Big Brother Yun. Mother, Shuer wants to go as well. Yun Ruoshui pouted. Her black eyes were limpid and clear. Shuair Jr., you and the others stay here. Ning Xian paused for a moment before continuing, I'll go see what's going on first. Yi family. A group of experts descended from the sky and blocked the Yi family's doorstep. The leader of the group was a woman. This woman was extremely arrogant, and her eyes were filled with contempt. It was obvious that she did not place the group of people in front of her in her eyes. This mission seems to be very easy. As long as we can take down these people, it will be enough. Before coming to the Yi family, she had already investigated the situation of the Yi family. Even though the Yi family was famous in the Wuhui continent and no one dared to provoke them, it was a pity that they were too weak in front of the Holy Maiden tribe. May I know who you are and why have you come to my Yi family? Old man Yi hurriedly walked in from outside the door. He frowned slightly and looked warily at the people blocking the Yi family's door. Even though the people in front of him were just a group of women, Old Man Yi could feel a terrifying power from them. I heard that Yun Luofeng's family is in your Yi family? The woman sneered. I won't make things difficult for your Yi clan. Just get those people out here. Old Master Ye's face darkened. These people had come for Yun Luofeng's family? Now that Yun Luofeng was not in the No-Return continent, he had a reason to protect her family. Lady, you are too arrogant. In the Limitless Continent, no one dares to capture someone from my Yi clan. Old Man Yi snorted and flung his sleeves. A powerful force was emitted from his body, causing his gray robe to flutter even though there was no wind. The woman stared blankly for a moment before bursting into laughter. Old man, don't you know that there is always someone better than you out there? That's right, your Yi family is indeed very strong in the Limitless Continent. Unfortunately, in front of our sacred maiden tribe, you are vulnerable. She curled her lips into a contemptuous smile. The maiden tribe? The old man was a little confused. Where did this force come from? Why had he never heard of it? You are not from the Limitless Continent? Only this answer could dispel the doubts in his heart. At least you have some eyesight. For this matter, you can't blame me. You can only blame Yun Luofeng. He killed a member of our sacred maiden tribe. Our sacred maiden tribe can only find trouble with his family. Chapter 1665. The woman raised her head slightly and said with a face full of arrogance. Grandfather Ye's face suddenly changed and his gaze became even more serious. Old man, you'd better make a choice. Will you protect the Yun family? Or will you share the crime with them? The woman smiled coldly. Suddenly, an aged voice sounded out from behind, and it carried insufferably arrogant arrogance. In-law, since these people are here for the Yun family, then your Yi family shouldn't meddle in this business. I want to see what the sacred maiden tribe can do to me. The woman narrowed her eyes slightly and her dangerous gaze gradually turned to the old man in silk clothes. Who are you? The old man raised his chin and said arrogantly, I will never change my name. I am Yun Luo of the Yun family. I am Yun Luofeng's grandfather. Humph. The woman smiled sarcastically. I didn't expect you to not be afraid of death and dare to come out. Yun Luofeng rolled his eyes at her, his old face full of contempt. Why wouldn't I dare to come out? You losers dare to threaten me? Who are you calling a loser? The woman stared angrily at Yun Luofeng and fiercely gritted her teeth. Yun Luofeng's face was full of disdain. You said that my precious granddaughter killed the sacred maiden tribe's people. Then aren't you my granddaughter's losers? If it wasn't for the fact that you can't do anything to my granddaughter, do you need to come to the Wuhui continent to find trouble? You! The woman's face was livid and she pointed angrily at Yun Luofeng. No wonder you have such an inhumane granddaughter. It turns out that it was all taught by you. Heinous people like you should go to the 18th level of hell. Come, take this old man down. I want to see if he still dares to be so arrogant. Swoosh. In an instant, the sacred maiden tribe leaped up and quickly rushed towards Yun Luofeng. Facing these people's attacks, Yun Luofeng laughed twice. My precious granddaughter did nothing wrong. She only kills those who deserve to be killed. If you dare to lay a finger on me, my granddaughter will definitely overturn your sacred maiden tribe." The woman trembled in anger. "It's enough to capture the others as hostages. Kill this old man with a cheap mouth for me." In fact, Yun Luofeng's original intention was to provoke these people. He would rather die than drag Yun Luofeng down. "Be careful." Old Man Ye's expression changed drastically. His body reacted faster than his brain. Just as those people's attacks were about to reach him, he blocked in front of Yun Luo and forcefully withstood that palm strike. Boom! The old man's body was sent flying and he coughed up a mouthful of blood. A huge force spread out in the courtyard, causing a huge explosion. The entire courtyard was filled with dust, covering the azure sky. "In-laws!" Yun Luo's old face turned pale in an instant, and he hurriedly walked to Old Man Ye's side. "In-law, what are you doing? Don't you know that I deliberately angered her so that she would kill me? That would be better than capturing me to threaten Feng Er." Old Man Ye coughed twice, and blood kept flowing out of his mouth. His face was pale and colorless, and his breathing was very weak. Yun Shao isn't my biological grandson, but, in my heart, he's no different from a biological grandson. So, I've always treated him and Feng Er as family. Feng Er she placed you in the Yi family because she believed that our Yi family could protect you. Chapter 1666. Grandfather Ye's voice was intermittent, and he couldn't form a coherent sentence. If he watched Yun Luo get into trouble, then he would be letting down Yun Luofeng's trust in him. "In-law, even if I have to give up my life, I will not let anyone use you to threaten Feng Er." Yun Luo clenched his fists tightly and looked angrily at the Sacred Lady tribe. All these years Feng Er has never taken the initiative to provoke anyone, but there are always people who provoke her. The woman glanced at the half-dead grandfather Yi with a mocking gaze, then turned her gaze to Yun Luo. "Who said she didn't provoke us first? If she hadn't kidnapped our successor first, the elites of the Sacred Lady tribe wouldn't have caused trouble for her." Bullsh *T. Yun Luo swore angrily. "Feng Er would never kidnap anyone." Humph. According to a reliable report, our successor, Lin Ruobai, was kidnapped by Yun Luofeng. Lin Ruobai? Yun Luo's body suddenly froze. Wasn't Xiao Bai Feng's disciple? That was what he thought, and he said it out loud unexpectedly. After hearing the old man's words, the woman laughed arrogantly. The successor of our Sacred Lady tribe would worship a woman as her master? This is the funniest joke I've ever heard. Is she even worthy? Don't think that I won't kill you just because you lied to me. Anyone who offends the Sacred Lady tribe must die. Whoosh! A strong wind surged, and the woman's hair danced wildly in the wind. Her aura was as sharp as a sword as it shot towards Yun Luo. Under such a strong aura, Yun Luo couldn't move. Even so, the old man's lips curled into a mocking smile. Even at this time, he still dared to be so arrogant? The woman was even more furious, and she naturally didn't show any mercy. Just as the long sword condensed from her aura was about to pierce through the old man's chest, an invisible pressure came from the void. In an instant, the long sword's aura disappeared. It seems that the lesson I gave the Sacred Lady tribe back then was not enough. That voice was filled with evil and awe-inspiring coldness, causing one to shiver even though it was not cold. The woman's expression changed drastically. As she raised her head, a snow-white robe appeared in the air. It was as beautiful as a painting. There were many beauties in the Sacred Maiden tribe, and many of them were devastatingly beautiful. However, none of them could be more beautiful than this woman in white, Grandpa. The woman in white stepped into the void. In just a few steps, she had already descended from the sky to the ground. She was so fast that she could only leave a shadow in the sky. "Feng Er, hurry and see if Lord Yi can still be saved," Yun Luo said hurriedly as soon as he saw Yun Luofeng. Yun Luofeng's figure flashed, and she was already at Old Man Ye's side. She stretched out her hand, and took out a healing spirit herb from the divine grimoire space. She squeezed out the juice of this spirit herb, and fed it to Old Man Ye. His 5 viscera and 6 bowels are all shattered. I will temporarily stop the bleeding for him. If he wants to recover from his injuries, I will need to concoct a medicinal solution. A medicinal solution concocted from ordinary herbs would not be able to cure Old Man Ye's injuries. Only the spirit herbs in the divine grimoire space could alleviate his injuries. Fortunately, this time, the gold-seeking rat did not use up all the spirit herbs. It left her a lot so that she had the spirit herbs to concoct the medicinal solution. Next, it's time to settle the score. Yun Luofeng slowly turned her head, her evil eyes staring coldly at the people of the Sacred Maiden tribe. Yun Luofeng? The woman's expression changed. How could this guy appear here? Yun Luofeng slowly raised her hand. With a swoosh, a powerful force broke through her palm and hit the woman's chest. Chapter 1667. Ah! The woman screamed and fell to the ground with a thud. Who allowed you to come to the Wuhui continent? Yun Luofeng raised his head slightly and looked down at the woman who had fallen to the ground. What are you still standing there for? The woman gritted her teeth. Capture this bastard. The members of the Holy Maiden tribe wanted to step forward, but when they felt the murderous aura from Yun Luofeng's body, they instinctively took a few steps back. Azure wings. Yun Luofeng called out coldly. Bang! The moment his voice fell, a tall figure landed heavily on the ground. He was like a god as he stood in front of Yun Luofeng to protect him. This man was very tall and well-built. Even though his body was covered in scars, it could not hide his evil aura. Other than this woman, kill everyone else. Don't leave a single one alive. These words slowly spilled out from her lips. They were filled with a murderous aura as they lingered in the courtyard. What do you want? The woman's entire body trembled. She never thought that Yun Luofeng would return to the Wuhui continent. Moreover, it was so fast. What do I want? Yun Luofeng laughed coldly. Do you want to know what hell is? I don't. Before she could finish her sentence, she saw a wave of flames surge out from beneath her. The flames instantly enveloped her body. It was as if she was in hell, and it was extremely painful. Following the recovery of fire's power, her flames became even more ferocious. Under her control, they could make people feel even more pain. Those who touch my family, don't leave a single one alive. She, Yun Luofeng, was never a good person. It was fine if the world said that she was ruthless and cruel, but she only wanted to protect her family. For this, she was willing to pay any price and would not hesitate. Yun Luofeng slowly turned around and looked at the old man behind him. His beautiful face lit up with a faint smile. Grandfather, I'm back. After 5 years, she was finally back. Yun Luofeng's heart was filled with excitement and tears almost streamed down his face. However, he suppressed the emotions in his heart and kept a straight face as he spoke impatiently. You've been gone for 5 years and you still know how to come back? Unsurprisingly, this was the longest period of time that Yun Luofeng had been away from the family. No one knew how he had managed to get through this period of time. Yun Luofeng raised his eyebrows. Actually, I brought you a gift this time. If you don't want it, then forget it. Gift? Upon hearing this, the old man's eyes immediately lit up. He cleared his throat and pretended to be serious as he said, You have a conscience. You even know to bring me a gift. Where's your gift? Quickly take it out and show your filial piety to your grandfather. Yun Luofeng's smile widened. She stretched out her hand and a dark green fruit appeared in it. This is a fruit of life. You can extend your lifespan by 10 years after consuming it. Extending his lifespan by 10 years? This is good stuff? The old man's eyes shone with an intense light, and his breathing quickened as he said, Hurry up and give this fruit of life to me. How can one of these be enough? Give me at least 10, no. 100. Looking at the old man's disrespectful appearance, Yun Luofeng helplessly spread out his hands. I only have this one right now, and right now, you should let me treat Patriarch Ye's injuries first. Yun Luofeng carefully put the fruit of life away. He planned to slowly enjoy it after returning to his room. Seeing that you're going to treat your in-laws' injuries, I'll let you off for now. Next time you have something good, remember to show your filial piety to your grandfather first. Chapter 1668. Facing the shameless old man, what else could Yun Luofeng say? All right, if there's anything good in the future, I'll be the first to bring it back for you. In any case, she had worked so hard for these family members. If her family was gone, what was the point? Oh right, by the way, after I help Patriarch Yi heal his injuries, I'm going to leave? Yun Luo's fingers that were gently stroking the tree of life stiffened. After a long while, when he suppressed the emotions that were surging out of his heart, he used a calm gaze to stare at Yun Luofeng. This time, how long do you plan on leaving? I'm not sure. Yun Luofeng rubbed his nose, however, I will still return to this place in the end. Parting was a very sad thing. However, Yun Luo would never express the reluctance in his heart, afraid that it would affect Yun Luofeng. His granddaughter had her own path to walk. As her family, he couldn't possibly drag her down. Yun Qingya glanced at her father, then slowly turned her clear eyes to Yun Luofeng. The corners of her lips curled up slightly. Feng second uncle is waiting for you here. Go ahead and do it. A warm feeling flowed through Yun Luofeng's heart. In this life, she was already satisfied with having these family members. Humph! Yun Luo snorted and said unhappily, last time, you promised Laozi that you would bring Yun Shao back to get married this time. Now tell me, where is Yun Shao? The corner of Yun Luofeng's mouth twitched. Next time, I'll definitely bring him along. Stinking girl, let me tell you, I only recognize Yun Shao as my grandson-in-law. If you do something like pulling up your pants and not admitting to it, Laozi will definitely kick your butt. Yun Luofeng's forehead was filled with black lines. She really wanted to ask, is Yun Shao your own, or is she picked up? At this time, there were already people from the Yi family carrying old man Yi into the room. Yun Luofeng didn't say anything more. She walked into the room and began to treat old man Ye's body. With Yun Luofeng's current strength and the combination of spiritual medicine, as long as old man Yi still had a breath left, she could save him. Therefore, it didn't take long for old Master Yi to open his eyes. What came into view was a beautiful face that was as beautiful as a painting. Feng, you're back? Yun Luofeng gently nodded his head. I've returned. Moreover, I've even met up with Yun Shao. Unfortunately, he has other matters to attend to. Hence, I've returned alone. Ling, and Chen, have you seen them? Yun Luofeng was startled. Father and mother? That's right. Not long ago, the two of them went to the 7 continents. Why didn't you see them? Hearing the old man's voice, Yun Luofeng frowned and shook his head. I didn't see them in the 7 continents. If they also went to that continent, we will meet sooner or later. Old man Yi opened his mouth and wanted to say something, but he swallowed the words back when they were on the tip of his tongue. Feng, now that you're back, are you going to leave again soon? Yes, I have more important things to do. In order to prevent anyone from coming to the Yi family, she must go to the Sacred Maiden tribe to resolve this dispute. All right, then go. No matter what, you must come back alive. Old man Yi smiled faintly. His voice was no longer as weak as it was at the beginning, and his body had gradually recovered. Chapter 1669. Yun Luofeng remained silent. After a long while, she said, Take care. The Yi family. In the courtyard, Yun Ruoxue blinked her big watery eyes and looked innocently at the woman in white who was walking out. Cousin, are you leaving so soon? Yun Luofeng liked her cousin very much. She walked forward and gently patted Yun Ruoxue's head. A devilish smile appeared on her lips. Wait for me for 5 years. I'll definitely be back in 5 years. Yun Ruoxue nodded solemnly. Cousin, you're my goal. I'll work hard to catch up to you. Yun Luofeng smiled and looked at the Yi siblings. I'll wait for you in the 7 continents. I believe that with your talents, it'll only take you a few years to get to the 7 continents. Yi Jun was shocked. She gently pursed her red lips and had a complicated look in her eyes. Sister-in-law, I'll look for you and Big Brother as soon as possible. Yun Luofeng smiled and suddenly asked, by the way, why didn't I see Yishima and Yi Qi when I came back this time? Ever since I was born, I have rarely seen Big Brother. But not long ago, Big Brother came back once, and he even brought back my future sister-in-law. Because of this, Big Sister's heart was broken, and she left to train and never returned. Yun Luofeng fell silent when she heard this. She had long known that Yi Qi adored Yishima. Otherwise, she wouldn't have targeted her back then. However, Yishima had always treated Yi Qi as his younger sister and never had any improper thoughts. Therefore, Yi Qi was destined to be hurt in this unrequited love. To be honest, Yun Luofeng didn't have a good impression of Yi Qi. She had only accepted her because of Jun Fengling. You don't have to worry about this. Yi Qi will walk out on her own. When that time comes, she'll be able to find her Mr. Right. At this moment, a figure ran over in a hurry. That person was panting from running. When she saw Yun Luofeng, her eyes lit up and she hurried forward. Miss Yun, something bad has happened. Miss Yi Qi. She's been captured by the Holy Lady tribe. What? Yun Luofeng's face darkened. I've already killed the people of the Sacred Maiden tribe who came yesterday. It's impossible for anyone to escape. How did Yi Qi fall into the hands of the Sacred Maiden tribe? Could it be those who came that day were not all the maidens of the Sacred Maiden tribe? One had to admit that Yun Luofeng had guessed correctly. Most of the maidens from the Sacred Maiden tribe had already arrived at the Yi family, but a few were arranged to stay outside the Fengyan country to provide support. When the news of the annihilation of the Sacred Maiden tribe came, those people wanted to go back to report. Who knew that at this time, they suddenly discovered the existence of Yi Qi, which also changed their plans. Initially, they did not know that Yi Qi was a member of the Yi family. However, a young master who was passing by had seen Yi Qi and talked about her with others. That was how the group of people knew Yi Qi's identity. After all, they had come to the Wuhui continent once. They couldn't return empty-handed. That was why Yi Qi had fallen into their hands. Sister-in-law, what should we do now? Yi Jun's face was pale. Big sister has been taken away by those bad guys. Yun Luofeng's eyes were gloomy and his aura surged. It wasn't wrong that she didn't like Yi Qi. After all, Yi Qi was Jun Fengling's adopted daughter. If anything happened to Yi Qi, Jun Fengling would be heartbroken. Chapter 1670. She would not let go of anyone who made Jun Fengling grieve. You stay in the Yi family. Don't let anyone know about this. I'll go to the Sacred Maiden tribe. Yun Luofeng's face had calmed down, but there seemed to be a storm in her black eyes. It was very frightening. I will never let go of anyone who dares to harm the Yi family. Swoosh. Yun Luofeng's figure turned into a flash of lightning and shot into the void in front of him. Yun Ruoxue was about to cry. Brother Xie, Sister Jun, will my cousin be in danger? No, Yi Jun shook her head and clenched her small fist. Grandpa said that sister-in-law is very powerful. There is nothing in this world that she can't do. So, let's listen to sister-in-law. Don't tell anyone about this, lest others worry. Since the Sacred Maiden tribe could come to the no-return continent, they must have their own wormhole. Therefore, when Yun Luofeng went to look for them, the Sacred Maiden tribe had already left. If he wanted to rescue Yi Qi, the only way was to personally go to the Sacred Maiden tribe. Master. Little Mo appeared beside Yun Luofeng out of thin air. Yesterday, he had already finished dealing with the Chu family's matter with Yi Xie and rushed to the Yi family. Who knew that such a situation would happen? I have a feeling that Xiao Bai has awakened. Xiao Bai is the heir of the Sacred Maiden tribe. When she wakes up, shall we go to the sacred maiden tribe? Little Mo's face was full of worry. Moreover, the sacred maiden tribe is very powerful. They can dominate the 7 continents. Among the 7 continents, there was no territory managed by the sacred maiden tribe. That was not because the sacred maiden tribe was not powerful enough, but the sacred maiden tribe was too strong. They disdained being the continent's ruler. So much time was wasted on managing the continent. It was better to use it for cultivation. I can't wait. Yun Luofeng shook his head. But before going to the sacred maiden tribe, I have one more thing to do, the Steel Flame Legion. This time, she had another purpose in coming to the no-return continent. That was to bring the force that had accompanied her since the beginning back to the 7 continents. Unfortunately, when she went to the Endless City, everyone in the Steel Flame Legion had gone out to train. Therefore, she did not see them. But when he asked Guiyang to send a signal to the Steel Flame Legion and order them to rush back to Endless City, therefore, when Yun Luofeng returned to Endless City, the members of the Steel Flame Legion were already waiting for him. Miss! Master! The moment Qing Yan and Yi Ling saw Yun Luofeng, joy flashed in their eyes. They quickly walked up and looked at her excitedly. Miss, you're finally back. It had been 5 years since they last saw each other. She was finally back. When I return this time, I will take you away. But I don't have time to explain to you now. Wait for me inside the illusion. With a thought, Yun Luofeng sucked the people in front of her into her domain. Then, her body turned into a bolt of lightning once again and quickly disappeared. He didn't even give anyone time to ask questions. The 7 continents. The maiden tribe. As the door of the cell was pushed open, Yi Qi's body was thrown inside. She rubbed her arm that hurt from the fall and got up from the cold ground. Who are you people? Why did you capture me? Yi Qi's body trembled and her lips turned pale. Her eyes were filled with terror and fear. Chapter 1671. Why did I capture you? A cold voice came from outside the cell. It was so cold that Yi Qi shivered. At that moment, she felt as if she had fallen into an icehouse. Her entire body was bone-chilling. If you want to blame someone for this, blame Yun Luofeng. As his words subsided, a man and a woman walked in from outside the cell. Lady Qin Shui, I've already sent someone to investigate. This woman is Yun Luofeng's sister-in-law. If we capture her, Yun Luofeng will definitely appear. The man's lips curled into a smile. His mocking eyes swept across Yi Qi's pale face as he slowly spoke. Qin Shui was the one who had allied with the North Continent to deal with Yun Luofeng. She was also the older sister of the woman named Qin Yu who had died at the hands of Yun Luofeng in Xian Qing sect. Su Jun, after I capture Yun Luofeng, I will also give you a chance to torture him personally. Qin Shui raised her chin slightly and said arrogantly. Su Jun, the young master of Xian Qing sect. Back then, because Su Jun had failed to woo Xiaobai, he had gone to the Holy Lady tribe to complain about Yun Luofeng. As a result, the powerful cultivators of the Holy Lady tribe thought that Yun Luofeng had kidnapped Xiaobai and had sent people to kill him. Who would have thought that Yun Luofeng had not only destroyed Xian Qing sect but also killed Qin Yu? Su Jun would have died without a doubt. However, Qin Yu had used a secret technique to send him out, allowing him to keep his life. Yun Luofeng? Yi Qi's mouth gaped in shock. These people had captured her to deal with Yun Luofeng? Lady Qin Shui, back then, I sent someone to investigate Yun Luofeng's family situation. I also found out that this woman named Yi Qi seemed to have a dispute with Yun Luofeng. Hearing this, Qin Shui frowned. If that's the case, will Yun Luofeng come for her? Don't worry, Lady Qin Shui. Yun Luofeng will definitely come. This woman had always been loyal. For the sake of the Yi family, she had to save Yi Qi. However, I have a better idea. Su Jun sneered and turned to look at Yi Qi. There was a cunning light in his eyes. Yi Qi, I'll give you a chance. If you're willing to deal with Yun Luofeng with us, You'll definitely enjoy endless wealth in the future. Yi Chi snorted and turned her head away, refusing to look at Su Jun. Su Jun was not annoyed. He continued to tempt her. Yi Chi, do you know Lady Qin Shue's identity? Now, the elders of the Sacred Maiden tribe are in seclusion. In the entire Sacred Maiden tribe, Lady Qin Shue's status is the most powerful. If you rely on the Sacred Maiden tribe, you will be able to walk unhindered in the 7 continents. Moreover, many years ago, because of Yun Luofeng, you lost face and nearly lost your love. Could it be that you don't hate her at all? Yun Luofeng, your people snatched away Xiao Bai's heart and massacred my profound Azure sect. It would be too easy for you to die. I want you to taste the pain of being betrayed by your own family. Get lost. Yi Chi pointed at Su Jun angrily. You want me to join you? Dream on. If you have the ability, then kill me. If you don't, then don't talk nonsense. Su Jun's eyes darkened. Lord Qin Shui, this woman is simply refusing a toast only to drink a forfeit. We should teach her a lesson. Hearing this, Qin Shui did not move. She looked at Yi Chi coldly and said slowly, Yi Chi, what Su Jun said is not unreasonable. If you're willing to rely on us, I'll give you a way out. Otherwise, you'll live in hell for the rest of your days. Chapter 1672. That was right. Ever since she met Yun Luofeng, she had hated that woman, who asked Big Brother to treat her so well. He had even reprimanded her for her sake. However, at that time, Yi Chi did not know that Yun Luofeng was her sister-in-law. Her life was given by her adoptive parents. How could she bear to hurt them? Moreover, she was the one at fault. Hence, she had already accepted Yun Luofeng's existence. I never hated her. Yi Chi raised her head slightly. I owe the Yi family and my adoptive parents. If I can repay them with my life, I will have no regret. Yi Chi, you don't have to rush to give me an answer. I will give you a few days to consider. Qin Shui laughed coldly. However, I will let you try our methods in the next few days. I hope that you will still be able to persevere after a few days. Su Jun, let's go. Then, Qin Shui slowly turned around with a murderous look in her eyes. Su Jun's lips curled into a sarcastic smile. Yun Luofeng, you destroyed the Xianqing sect. I will repay you with interest. Outside the prison, Qin Shui stopped in her tracks and looked coldly at Su Jun. In a few days, the elders will come out of seclusion. At that time, I will inform the elders of everything that has happened recently. So, Su Jun, let me ask you one last time. Has the successor of the Holy Lady tribe fallen into Yun Luofeng's hands? Su Jun gritted his teeth and nodded. Lady Qin Shui, this is absolutely true. Miss Lin was indeed taken away by Yun Luofeng. He also wanted to force Miss Lin to marry his younger brother. The younger brother he was talking about was Xiao Mo. How could he not see how intimate Xiao Mo and Lin Ruobai were that day? How could he be happy when he thought that the woman he was about to woo had been snatched away by another man? Fortunately, Lin Ruobai had fallen into a coma. Perhaps she was already dead. This gave him a chance to frame Yun Luofeng, who asked Yun Luofeng to appear and ruin his plan. Even if Yun Luofeng claimed that Lin Ruobai was his disciple, would anyone in the Holy Lady tribe believe him? Suddenly, Su Jun laughed maniacally in his heart. He did not dare to show it on his face. His eyes were full of sorrow. Lady Qin Shui, you must avenge Miss Lin. Boom! Qin Shui's aura surged out, instantly destroying the trees on the side. Her eyes were cold. If what you say is true, then I will definitely tear Yun Luofeng's corpse into 1,000 pieces. This time, she didn't just do it for Lin Ruobai. She also wanted to avenge her sister. Therefore, regardless of whether Lin Ruobai was in Yun Luofeng's hands or not, this woman would undoubtedly die. The maidens of the Sacred Maiden tribe arrived on top of a cloudy mountain. The mist was dazzling and the scenery was picturesque. At this moment, at the foot of the cloud mountain, the woman in white stopped in her tracks. Her slender fingers gently stroked her chin. She raised her eyebrows and looked at the towering cloud mountain, narrowing her eyes slightly. Master, since this mountain is where the sacred maiden tribe is located, there should be countless dangers. You must be careful. Little Mo's voice came from his soul. It's fine. Yun Luofeng's lips curled up. These traps are not a problem. As soon as she finished speaking, Yun Luofeng casually waved her hand, and the Skeleton Legion, which she had previously taken under her command in the Hidden God Mountain, descended from the sky. This was the first time she had used the Skeleton Corps ever since she had accepted them. Chapter 1673. With these skeletons, she no longer needed to be careful and avoid danger. Instead, she could rush to the Sacred Maiden Tribe as quickly as possible. Boom! The Sacred Maiden Tribe. A powerful and ferocious force came from the forbidden area at the back of the mountain, causing the entire mountain to tremble. Qin Shui quickly ran out of the clan hall and looked at the back mountain, which was full of spiritual energy. Are the elders finally coming out of seclusion? Boom! 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 In an instant, lightning flashed and thunder roared. Lightning rushed straight down and struck the back mountain forbidden area. The whole sky was bright against this lightning. However, the momentum in the back mountain forbidden area did not dissipate for a long time. Thunder and lightning struck again, causing the mountain to shake. Lady Qin Shui, something bad has happened. A hurried voice came from the front. Immediately, a disciple of the Sacred Maiden Tribe came quickly. Her forehead was full of sweat, and she looked anxious. Lady Qin Shui, someone has attacked the Sacred Maiden Tribe. Attacked the Sacred Maiden Tribe? Qin Shui's face suddenly sank and she said coldly, "Who is so bold as to attack the Sacred Maiden Tribe?" It's a group of skeletons." The voice of the disciple of the Sacred Maiden Tribe trembled a little. Skeletons? Qin Shui was startled, but she quickly recovered. The elders will soon come out of seclusion. Don't let anyone disturb them. If anyone comes, kill without mercy. As the last 3 words fell, Qin Shui's murderous aura spread and filled the entire mountain. The cell was dark and damp. Yi Qi's body fell to the ground in a sorry state. Her body was full of scars, her face was pale, and her eyes were full of fear. No one knew what kind of life she had been living in the past few days. Perhaps she was unwilling to experience this kind of pain a second time. Yi Qi, have you thought about it? Su Jun's voice suddenly came. If you are willing to agree to our request, not only can you regain your freedom, but you can also enter the Sacred Maiden Tribe. This is something that many people dream of. Yi Qi slowly raised her head. What do you want me to do? In a few days, the elder of the Holy Maiden Tribe will come out of seclusion. At that time, they will definitely capture Yun Luofeng and interrogate him about this matter. I want you to come out and prove that not only did Yun Luofeng kidnap the successor of the Holy Maiden Tribe, but he was also extremely harsh on her. Moreover, the successor of the Holy Maiden Tribe lived a miserable life in his hand. The elders of the Sacred Maiden Tribe were not as gullible as Qin Shui and her sister. If Qin Shui was unable to kill Yun Luofeng before this, the elders of the Sacred Maiden Tribe would definitely encounter Yun Luofeng. If they had Yi Qi's testimony, everything would be different. May I ask who the successor of your Sacred Maiden Tribe is? Lin Ruobai. Su Jun answered her question without hesitation. I know that you know about the relationship between Lin Ruobai and Yun Luofeng. Unfortunately, Lin Ruobai is already dead. The dead cannot testify, so you can only help me. Yi Qi's body stiffened. The successor of the Sacred Maiden Tribe that they spoke of was actually Lin Ruobai? Furthermore, Lin Ruobai was dead? Now, you can tell me your decision. Su Jun raised his head. After a few days of torture, he believed that Yi Qi already knew what to choose. Yi Qi smiled and waved at Su Jun. Put your ear over here. I will tell you my decision. Su Jun did not suspect anything. He slowly walked to Yi Qi's side, squatted down, and put his ear over. Within the Sacred Maiden Tribe, Yi Qi did not dare to do anything else. Chapter 1674. Ah! A sharp cry resounded through the entire prison cell. Su-jun covered his bleeding ear and took a few steps back, glaring at Yi-chi angrily. "You damned woman, how dare you bite me?" Yi-chi sneered, her face full of mockery. "My decision is still to never obey you." Good. Good, good, good. Su-jun was so angry that he laughed and even said a few words. "I've given you one last chance, but you didn't cherish it. You can't blame me." Slap. Su-jun walked in front of Yi-chi again, lifted her shirt, and slapped her. The sound was crisp and loud. Yi-chi's left cheek swelled up, and blood flowed from the corner of her lips. However, the mockery in her eyes was so strong that she looked at Su-jun fearlessly. "Stupid girl! If I don't teach you a lesson, you won't know the price you have to pay for your actions." Su-jun grabbed Yi-chi's hair and slammed her head against the wall. With a thud, Yi-chi felt her vision go black. It took her a long time to recover. "Hit me then. Kill me if you have the guts. I'm Jun Fengling and Yi Jingchen's daughter. They taught me that I'd rather die than submit." No matter how many mistakes Yi-chi had made due to her naivety, she had never lost her pride. Who asked her mother to be Jun Fengling? Her father was Yi Jingchen? She would rather die than submit. That was her pride and aloofness. Ah! Su-jun laughed maniacally. His smile was ferocious. Rather die than submit? What if it's worse than death? Yi-chi's body stiffened, but her face was still determined. She would never submit, nor would she do anything to hurt her godparents. "To be honest, I've never had sex with another woman ever since I met Lin Ruabai. Although your looks can't be compared to Lin Ruabai's, you can still satisfy my thirst." Su-jun pushed Yi-chi's body to the ground and said viciously, "I'd like to see Yun Luofeng's expression when he finds out that I've raped his sister-in-law." Yi-chi's eyes were finally filled with fear. She pushed the man on top of her with all her might, and her voice was heart-wrenching. No, no. She was indeed prepared to die, but that did not mean that she was willing to endure such humiliation. She would rather die than lose her chastity. Scared? But it's too late. Rip. Su-jun smiled coldly. He raised his hand and tore Yi-chi's clothes into pieces, revealing her snow-white breasts. At first, Su-jun only wanted to vent his anger, but when he saw the undulating scene, his most primitive impulse was aroused. He pressed Yi-chi tightly with both arms, and his eyes surged with lust. Yi-chi had already given up struggling. Her face was ashen and tears flowed from the corners of her eyes. She gently closed her eyes. If this was fate, then she could only accept it. Suddenly, a familiar face appeared in her mind. That face was not the big brother Yishima, whom she missed dearly. Instead, it was the face of Yun Luofeng, whom she had once regarded as her enemy. If there was anyone who could save her now, it could only be that powerful woman. However, he had treated her like this in the past. Would she really come? Outside the Holy Lady Clan's mountain gate, a group of undead skeletons rushed in. They were like a group of warriors who did not know pain and death. The two clusters of green flames in their eyes were like the flames of war. Chapter 1675. What kind of monsters are these? Why can't they be killed? Within the sacred maiden tribe, a group of disciples looked pale. They looked at the undying skeleton legion in front of them and retreated, as if they were unable to resist. Yun Luofeng stood in the breeze. Her eyebrows and eyes were like a painting. Her beauty could topple a city. Her fine black hair fluttered in the wind. She was like a monarch overlooking all living beings. Tea, fire, little mo, milk tea, meng meng, rat queen. As her voice fell, the spirit beasts that she had left in the illusion to cultivate appeared one by one. First, a fierce dog appeared. Then, a fiery red fox appeared. Immediately after, Milk Tea and the Rat Queen brought the gold-seeking rat clan to the sacred maiden tribe. The entire mountain was filled with gold-seeking rats. Little Mo was the last to appear. The young man was dressed in a brocade robe. He was handsome, with a young face and delicate features. But the young man's aura was frightening. It was like a raging sea that was sweeping over. These spirit beasts are all at the Great Sage Realm. When did the continent have so many Great Sage Realm spirit beasts? The faces of the disciples of the Sacred Maiden tribe changed. Their eyes were filled with horror as they stared at the beasts that appeared out of thin air. T let out a roar and quickly rushed towards the people of the Sacred Maiden tribe. Fire stood in the void. Her 8 soft tails were shrouded in a layer of flames. Her fiery eyes were slightly burning with anger. Countless flames surged from her body, igniting the trees and flowers around her. The rat tribe leaped and rushed towards the disciples of the Sacred Maiden tribe. They opened their mouths and bit down. With a ripping sound, a piece of flesh was torn off. Little Mo didn't move. In his opinion, it was enough for the spirit beasts to attack. He just needed to watch the show. Stop. Suddenly, an angry roar came from the void and lingered in the air for a long time. Qin Shui swooped down and landed in front of everyone. Her cold eyes were surging with anger. She said coldly, "Yun Luofeng, you actually have the guts to come to my Sacred Maiden tribe. Are you walking into a trap?" Yun Luofeng raised his eyebrows slightly. "Where is Yi Qi?" "Humph." Qin Shui snorted coldly. "You kidnapped the successor of our Sacred Maiden tribe and killed my sister. I will make your relatives pay for this. This time, my people failed to capture your grandfather, but your aunt has fallen into our hands." Yun Luofeng raised her hand, and a sharp gust of wind leaped out from her palm, crashing towards Qin Shui with a boom. Seeing the incoming wind, Qin Shui's eyes darkened. She raised her sword to block. At that moment she felt a heavy blow to her chest. She could not help but take a few steps back. Yun Luofeng's strength was indeed formidable. No. This woman must not be allowed to grow any further. Otherwise, no one in the 7 continents would be able to do anything to her. Yun Luofeng, your fiancé's sister, has fallen into my hands. If you don't lay down your arms and surrender, I have 10,000 ways to make her suffer a fate worse than death. Yun Luofeng's evil eyes looked at Qin Shui, and his beautiful face gently curved into an evil smile. "Then who do you think will die first, her or you?" Qin Shui's expression changed. "What do you mean by that?" "If she dies, she will probably be satisfied to have you accompany her in death." Yun Luofeng gradually approached Qin Shui. If this was before, when she had first confronted the people of the Sacred Maiden tribe, Yun Luofeng did not have the confidence to become enemies with the Sacred Maiden tribe. However, there was no longer anyone on this mainland who could endure her. Chapter 1676. I want to enter the Sacred Maiden tribe now. Those who stop me will be killed without mercy. Those who obstruct me will be killed without mercy. The woman's voice was arrogant and domineering, echoing endlessly in the sky. Yun Luofeng, I admit that you are very strong, but my Sacred Maiden tribe is not weaker than you. Qin Shui's face was ice-cold. Ever since she had become a protector of the Sacred Maiden tribe, no one had dared to treat her like this. Hua! A strong gust of wind blew and his aura rose. Qin Shui's hair fluttered in the wind, and her eyes were extremely cold. Yun Luofeng was unmoved. His evil eyes stared at Qin Shui, whose aura was rising, expressionlessly. "Yun Luofeng, I will make you pay for your arrogance." Boom! Qin Shui's body turned into a hurricane as she shot towards Yun Luofeng. Killing intent surged from her body as she planned to kill the woman in front of her. Facing the ferocious Qin Shui, Yun Luofeng slowly raised his hand. The 2 hands collided. A powerful force spread from the 2 of them, rolling up a cloud of dust. The disciples of the Sacred Maiden tribe, who were closer to them, were instantly sent flying by this force, and fell to the ground in embarrassment. "Puchi!" Qin Shui spat out a mouthful of blood and took 2 steps back. She glared at the woman in front of her with a hideous expression. In comparison, Yun Luofeng was much calmer. She shook her numb arm and stared at Qin Shui with evil eyes. "I'll ask you one last time. Where is Yi Qi?" If the sacred maiden tribe insisted on not handing over the person, then she didn't mind carving out a bloody path. Hee. Qin Shui laughed. Her laughter was low and sinister. Yun Luofeng, you are a genius. If you had come a few days earlier, perhaps I would have died in your hands. However, today, the elder of our sacred maiden tribe has come out of seclusion. No matter how strong you are, in the face of absolute strength, you will be vulnerable. Just as Qin Shui's words fell, the spiritual energy fluctuations that appeared in the sky above the sacred maiden tribe's back mountain disappeared. Then, an old voice with a low tone sounded in the sky. This old man has been in seclusion for several years. When I finally came out, I saw someone coming to my sacred maiden tribe to make trouble. I don't know what hatred you have with my sacred maiden tribe? So ruthless? Elder? Qin Shui was delighted and hurriedly looked at the few figures floating in the void. There weren't many people in the void, only 3. However, these 3 people were the elders of the sacred maiden tribe, and they were also the supreme existences in the tribe. Elders, you've finally come out of seclusion. More than 10 years, since the disappearance of the patriarch more than a decade ago, the elders had collectively entered seclusion, leaving the holy maiden tribe behind. Now that more than 10 years had passed, they must have achieved something in order to break out of seclusion. However, only the people of the sacred maiden tribe would know that an elder was in seclusion. Otherwise, if people from the outside world knew about it, the status of the sacred maiden tribe would be in jeopardy. This was also the reason why the sacred maiden tribe had disappeared. There were no men in the holy maiden tribe. Even the elders were all women. The 3 girls appeared to be very young. Perhaps it was because they had taken good care of their bodies, but there were no traces of age on their faces. Only their white hair revealed their age. Greetings, Elder Red, Elder Blue, and Elder Green. When the people of the sacred maiden tribe saw the appearance of several elders, they knelt down and greeted them. However, from the way they addressed each other, it could be heard that the title of these elders was based on their clothes. Chapter 1677. Miss, forgive and forget. No matter how big the fault of my sacred maiden tribe is, it is not an excuse for you to exterminate the sacred maiden tribe. The elder in cyan had a serious look on her face as she spoke coldly. In the past, if she saw a genius like Yun Luofeng, she would have desperately taken her in as a subordinate. However, she did not ignore that Yun Luofeng had killed many people of the sacred maiden tribe. Based on this alone, she would not accept her. I am just looking for someone. Yun Luofeng's voice sounded indifferently. Looking for someone? The elder in cyan smiled coldly. My sacred maiden tribe does not have the person you are looking for. If she had not come out of seclusion, she could imagine what kind of massacre the sacred maiden tribe would have suffered. Based on this alone, she could not forgive these people. Yun Luofeng raised his eyebrows and glanced at Qin Shui. I am afraid you have to ask her about this matter. She took away my fiancé's sister. I am here to save my sister. The elders furrowed their brows and looked at Qin Shui. Qin Shui glared at Yun Luofeng and snorted. It's like this. Some time ago, I have found out where the heir of our sacred maiden tribe is. More than 10 years ago, the leader of the sacred maiden tribe suddenly disappeared. When she returned, she was already pregnant. The women of the sacred maiden tribe were not allowed to get married. After hearing about this, several elders were furious. But who asked her to be the leader of the sacred maiden tribe? Even if the rules of the sacred maiden tribe were not allowed to be changed, they could not do anything to the leader, who knew that a prophet of the sacred maiden tribe had predicted that the child of the leader would be extremely powerful in the future. Because of this, the sacred maiden tribe had acquiesced to her arrival unexpectedly. After the prophet's prophecy, the leader disappeared again, and the prophet also disappeared. However, before the prophet left, she asked several elders to improve their strength. When their strength was strong enough, they could find the leader and bring her back. For this reason, several elders went into seclusion and left a message to Qin Shui and her sister, who had just been promoted to protectors, that they must find the daughter of the leader and make her the heir of the sacred maiden tribe. Even though the leader had gone to a place that they could not reach for the time being, the daughter of the leader was still in this world. With the items left behind by the prophet, it was no longer difficult to find a successor. But no matter how they thought about it, they never thought that the successor of the Holy Maiden tribe was not within the 7 continents. Therefore, after searching for more than 10 years, he finally obtained this information. The few elders held their breaths and hurriedly asked, "Are you telling the truth? Where is the successor now?" Qin Shui gritted her teeth. "My successor was kidnapped by this woman. My sister, Qin Yu, was also killed by her in order to find my successor. Fortunately, the young sect master of the profound Azure sect, Su Jun, came to inform me and I found out about this matter." All the elders' expressions changed drastically. "Is what you said true? If this woman really hurt the successor, then the Sacred Lady tribe would never let her off." "Absolutely." Qin Shui raised her chin. "Originally, Su Jun was going to die in the hands of this woman. It was Qin Yu who sent him out of danger before she died. Her purpose was to let me know about this. If Elder doesn't believe me, I can find Su Jun and he will tell you the truth." Facing Qin Shui's voice, Yun Luofeng didn't move. He didn't even try to defend himself, because, just now, Bai Xiao had told her one thing. Xiao Bai was about to wake up. Chapter 1678. Prison. Su Jun pressed down on Yiqi fiercely. Her clothes had been torn into pieces, revealing her snow-white and smooth body. Yiqi's eyes were filled with fear and tears. She bit her lips hard and stared at Su Jun with hatred. "Tisk!" Su Jun raised his hand and pinched Yiqi's body. "Look at you. You're still a virgin. It's a pity that you've offended me. Otherwise, I would have been more lenient." Yiqi's body trembled. Her snow-white skin was bruised by Su Jun. Her pale face was drenched in sweat. "If you dare to touch me, my adoptive parents will definitely avenge me. They definitely will. Haha, then I'll wait for them to come find me for revenge." Finally, Yiqi was naked from head to toe. Looking at this tempting body, Su Jun sneered twice and planned to stand up straight. Who knew, at this moment, a disciple of the Sacred Maiden tribe ran in with a bang. If this was the profound Azure sect, Su Jun would have already killed the person who disturbed him. However, this was the Sacred Maiden tribe. No matter how dissatisfied he was, he did not dare to show it. The Sacred Maiden tribe was full of women, and Su Jun was a special case. Therefore, these women were all inexperienced. Now seeing such a scene, they were dumbfounded on the spot and looked at Su Jun with eyes full of disgust. "Su Jun, Our Lady Qin Shui allowed you to stay in the Sacred Maiden tribe for the sake of your merit in finding a successor. I didn't expect you to dare do such a dirty thing in our Sacred Maiden tribe." Su Jun suppressed the displeasure in his heart and forced a smile on his face. "You misunderstood. I was just scaring her. Who told her to be so disobedient? How could I dare to defile the Sacred Maiden tribe's clean territory?" The disciple of the Sacred Maiden tribe snorted coldly. Apparently, she did not believe Su Jun's explanation. "The elder has come out of seclusion. Lady Qin Shui wants you to go." Su Jun was taken aback. "The elder is here. Why do you want me to go over?" "Because Yun Luofeng has also attacked the Holy Maiden clan. Lady Qin Shui wants you to go and point out Yun Luofeng." Boom. Yiqi's mind was buzzing, and only a few words appeared in her mind. Yun Luofeng had also attacked the Holy Maiden tribe. She's here? Was he here to save her? Yiqi's lips trembled slightly. She never thought that Yun Luofeng would really come to save her. "Then I'll have to trouble you to lead the way." Su Jun pretended to be a gentleman and smiled. However, his actions just now had already made the disciples of the Sacred Maiden tribe extremely disgusted. The disciple hesitated for a while, then took off his coat and threw it to Yi Chi. Put on your clothes first. The most important thing for a woman is her innocence. No matter how big a mistake she made, she shouldn't have her innocence tarnished by others. Her words were obviously directed at Su Jun. The people of the Sacred Maiden tribe were very arrogant, condescending, and even self-righteous, but they had always adhered to their chastity. They could not stand Su Jun's beastly behavior, so they did not give him any face. If it weren't for Lady Qin Shui, she would have driven this stinky man out of the Sacred Maiden tribe long ago, lest he tarnish such a sacred and beautiful place, above Cloud Mountain, inside the clan gate. Little Mo's face turned red with anger as he glared at the crowd. At this moment, he saw Su Jun, who was led by the disciples of the Holy Maiden tribe, rushing over. His eyes were filled with murderous intent. "You are Su Jun?" The elder in green glanced at Su Jun and frowned. She was very dissatisfied with the appearance of a man from the Sacred Maiden tribe. Chapter 1679. Su Jun hurriedly stepped forward and replied respectfully. "Elder, I am Su Jun. This time, I came to the Sacred Maiden tribe for Miss Lin." "Is what you said true?" The elder in green's face darkened. If Yun Luofeng really did something to the successor of the Sacred Maiden tribe, then, he would not let her go. Of course, he was not as gullible as Qin Shui. Even if Yun Luofeng's act of killing the Sacred Maiden tribe's people made him angry, he would not blindly believe that the successor of the Sacred Maiden tribe had fallen into his hands. "Elder, I've seen this with my own eyes. It can't be false." Su Jun glared fiercely at Yun Luofeng before turning his gaze towards the furious Xiao Mo. A vicious light flashed across his eyes as he said, "This boy is Yun Luofeng's younger brother. I don't know how Yun Luofeng found out about Miss Lin's identity, but he's forcing Miss Lin to marry his younger brother. Who knew that Miss Lin would rather die than comply? That's why she was killed by these people." Su Jun snorted. Now that Lin Ruobai was not here, no one could prove Yun Luofeng's innocence. These people from the Sacred Maiden tribe would definitely not let her go. The elders' faces did not look too good. If what Su Jun said was true, these people were really audacious. "Haha," Qin Shui sneered. "You want to have designs on the successor of the Sacred Maiden tribe? Why don't you look at yourself first? How can you be worthy of her? Elder, let's not talk nonsense with these people. Let's just kill them." Xiao Mo clenched his fists tightly. Anger flashed across his handsome face. "I have long heard that the Sacred Maiden tribe has always been unreasonable. Now that I have seen it, it is indeed true." "How dare you!" All the elders were enraged. "Regardless of whether the successor of the Sacred Maiden tribe is in your hands or not, you must stay in the Sacred Maiden tribe until we find out the truth." The elder in red paused and continued. "Also, after we find out whether Su Jun's words are true, I will calculate the losses of the Sacred Maiden tribe with you." Yun Luofeng raised his eyebrows and looked at the elders of the Sacred Maiden tribe. His lips gently raised in a shallow smile. "What if I don't want to stay?" "Ha ha!" The green-clothed elder laughed out loud, and the ridicule in his eyes intensified. "Now that you've come to the Sacred Maiden tribe, you can't leave whenever you want. Men, arrest these people for me and await punishment." "Yes, elder." The disciples of the Sacred Maiden tribe were stunned. The appearance of the elder had ignited their fighting spirit. Without hesitation, they rushed towards Yun Luofeng. Unfortunately, be it the beasts or the skeleton core, none of them would give them a chance. Under the gentle breeze, the woman stood with her hands behind her back. Her white clothes fluttered in the wind, and she was as beautiful as snow. Her evil aura was indifferent. Even though she was in such a bad situation, her expression did not change. The elder in green sighed helplessly. "This woman is very outstanding. If she was accepted into the Sacred Maiden tribe, it would increase the strength of the Sacred Maiden tribe again. Unfortunately, the woman in front of them had already formed an incomprehensible enmity with the sacred maiden tribe. Little Emo heard the voices of the elders and laughed sarcastically. "I'm sorry, even if there were no grudges, my master would not have joined your holy maiden tribe." "Why?" "Because my master's husband will come and destroy your sacred maiden tribe." The disciples of the sacred maiden tribe were not allowed to marry in their lifetime. This also led to the purity of the people of the sacred maiden tribe. Otherwise, they would not have been deceived by Su Jun. Chapter 1680. The elder in green's expression was very ugly. He snorted. "What's so good about those stinky men from the outside world? I will not let those stinky men tarnish the innocence of the disciples of the sacred maiden tribe. Moreover, the person you mentioned, if he really has the ability, he can come and destroy the sacred maiden tribe. I'm afraid he doesn't have the strength." Little Emo curled his lips. He was too lazy to fight with these people. His gaze turned to the two sides that were fighting. The skeleton core was indestructible, and the spiritual beasts were also extremely fierce. Soon, the disciples of the sacred maiden tribe were at a disadvantage. Not good. The elder in green's eyes darkened. A sharp light flashed in her eyes. With a swoosh, her body turned into a sharp light and shot towards Yun Luofeng like a sharp sword. Seeing that the elder in green was about to step forward, Yun Luofeng had already slowly stretched out his hand, intending to receive the other party's attack. However, at this moment, there was a loud bang, and a powerful aura surged out from Yun Luofeng's body. Perhaps it was because of this aura that even Yun Luofeng himself froze, unable to move, let alone the green-robed elder who was charging towards him. They only heard a childish voice slowly ring out, domineering to the clouds. "Who dares to touch my mother?" In the air, a young figure gradually revealed itself. The young boy was wearing a brocade robe that did not fit him and could only cover his knees. His arms and legs were very white and slender. At such a young age, he had the aura of a king and was so powerful. The elder in green's eyes flashed with vigilance. This little fellow looked very young, but for some reason, he gave off a very strong sense of oppression. It was as if he was the son of the devil, extremely shocked. Moreover, the ground around the young boy was floating with jade-green tree vines. These tree vines swayed in the wind and were very lifelike, surrounding the young boy in the middle. Little tree. Yun Luofeng had long known that the little tree would also wake up in the near future, but he did not expect that he would wake up so soon. A few months ago, the little tree still looked like a 5- or 6-year-old child. Now that a few short months had passed after he woke up, he looked like an 8- or 9-year-old boy. Clearly, this time's deep sleep had greatly benefited the little tree. "It's just a child," Qin Shui sneered. "Go and kill this child first." Upon hearing Qin Shui's words, Su Jun's heart skipped a beat. He had witnessed Xiao Shu's strength in the profound Azure sect. It was this youth who instantly killed Qin Shui's twin sister, Qin Yu. However, the little tree was only about 5 years old at that time. Why did he suddenly grow into an 8- or 9-year-old boy after a few months? "Yes, Lady Qin Shui." Several disciples of the sacred maiden tribe stepped forward. Their speed was so fast that the elders could not stop them. "Wait!" The face of the elder in green clothes changed drastically. It was obviously too late to stop the actions of the disciples of the sacred maiden tribe. These reckless disciples of the sacred maiden tribe had already arrived in front of the small tree. "You want to kill me?" The sapling lazily looked at the disciples of the sacred maiden tribe who were rushing over, and a smile gradually appeared on her tender and lovely face. His smile was full of sarcasm. Whoosh! The tree vines moved at the sound of the wind, like the sharpest killing weapon in the world. When the disciples of the sacred maiden tribe approached, the tree vines that had turned into sharp weapons instantly pierced through their chests. Qin Shui's face was extremely pale. Her lips trembled slightly, and her footsteps kept retreating. Chapter 1681. The disciples of my sacred maiden tribe are all elite. How can a child have such power? The elder in Cyan's expression did not look any better. Can't you see that this is not a human child? If I'm not wrong, he should be a tree. A tree? Qin Shui's body stiffened. If it was someone else, they might not be able to see through the identity of the small tree. However, the sacred maiden tribe did not lack trees with intelligence. Therefore, the elder in Cyan could know the true identity of the small tree. Impossible. Trees can develop intelligence, but they cannot transform into humans like spirit beasts, just like the lost tree of life of our sacred maiden tribe. Qin Shui bit her lip tightly and could not believe what she had seen. Su Jun, who was still hiding behind the crowd, suddenly said, "Elders, Lady Qin Shui, only the sacred maiden tribe deserves to have the tree man. Therefore, you should take this tree man back. No, it should be let this woman return the tree man intact." Qin Shui's eyes moved. If the sacred maiden tribe could get this tree man, their strength would double. In contrast, the elders' faces sank again, and their cold eyes shot to Su Jun behind the crowd. Idiots who wish for the world to be in chaos. This tree man was very strong. Wasn't it equivalent to seeking death to snatch the tree man with their own abilities? Moreover, for a tree that had developed intelligence, it would be more difficult than ascending to the sky to make it loyal. It was no wonder that the elders were furious with Su Jun's words. "Miss," the elder in Cyan took a deep breath and looked up at Yun Luofeng. "You have also killed many people of our sacred maiden tribe. Why don't we write off this account? A wise man submits to the circumstances. This tree man's strength was extraordinary, so they had to be careful." Yun Luofeng raised an eyebrow. "Let me leave, I can, but I have two requirements. First, my sister must appear in front of me unscathed. If she loses a single strand of hair, I will kill one person. If she loses 2 strands, I will kill 2 people until the entire sacred maiden tribe is wiped out." Su Jun's eyelids twitched and he subconsciously took 2 steps back. He saw that his words did not provoke the possessiveness of the sacred maiden tribe and could only find a way to leave this place. Second, Yun Luofeng paused, then continued, "Anyone who participated in the kidnapping of my sister must be handed over to me." The elders looked at each other. In the end, it was the green-robed elder who had a better temper who said, "Miss, I can let your sister go. As for your other requests, please forgive me for not being able to agree." Yun Luofeng shrugged. "Since that's the case, there's no need to negotiate. Miss, do you really think that our sacred maiden tribe is easy to bully? That's right, your tree men are indeed very powerful, but my sacred maiden tribe has been passed down for so many years. It's not like we don't have any means. If you insist on fighting, my sacred maiden tribe will accompany you to the end." The green-robed elder was getting impatient. "It's not wrong that you, Yun Luofeng, have a treant, but my sacred maiden tribe has been passed down for so many years and still holds the highest position, precisely because of the sacred maiden tribe's trump card. Otherwise, the sacred maiden tribe would not have remained in such a high position after the disappearance of the patriarch." Just as the elders of the sacred maiden tribe were threatening Yun Luofeng with words, Yun Luofeng gave an irrelevant answer and said a number. Everyone was stunned. They did not understand what she meant. 2. The woman's lips curled up, her dark eyes incomparably deep. Chapter 1682. The green-clothed elder's face darkened. "Miss, what do you mean? Are you looking down on us?" Yun Luofeng continued speaking as if he had not heard her words. 3. An evil smile suddenly appeared on her beautiful face, and her black eyes gradually turned to Su Jun, who was about to escape. "Are you sure that Xiao Bai was kidnapped by me?" Su Jun stopped in his tracks when he heard Yun Luofeng's words. He raised his head in surprise and looked straight into the woman's half-smiling eyes. When he saw the smile in the woman's eyes, Su Jun felt a sense of unease. Before he could figure out what was going on, a familiar voice appeared out of thin air and fell into everyone's ears. "Master, what's going on with that woman called Bai Xiao? Why does she call me successor? And what is this place? Lin Ruabai's body swayed and disappeared from the tree of life. When she opened her eyes, she was frightened by everything in front of her. What's going on? Master is fighting with someone? No way. As a disciple, I must help Master fight. Thinking of this, Lin Ruabai excitedly rubbed her small fists with an evil smile on her face. In fact, when Yun Luofeng counted to 3, Lin Ruabai had already woken up. However, she was frightened by Bai Xiao and was in a daze for a while. Who knew that Bai Xiao did not explain anything to her and kicked her out of the Tree of Life, so she was still kept in the dark until now. Bai Xiao? The Tree of Life, Bai Xiao? Qin Shui's body suddenly stiffened, and she stared angrily at Yun Luofeng. So it was you who stole our holy maiden tribe's Tree of Life. She only heard the 2 words Bai Xiao, and as for how Bai Xiao addressed Lin Ruabai, she had ignored it. Shut up! The green-clothed elder, who was still in a daze, suddenly slapped Qin Shui's face. In an instant, her cheeks were red and swollen. Oh! Elder, the green-clothed elder suddenly walked quickly toward Lin Ruabai. Lin Ruabai was shocked. When she regained her senses, she shouted angrily, "Get lost! Those who fought with Master were not good people." Bang! Lin Ruabai's strength slammed into the azure-clothed elder's body, and the completely defenseless azure-clothed elder instantly retreated 2 steps. The instant Lin Ruabai made his move, the azure-clothed elder saw a red light in the girl's eyes. This red light was not a bloodthirsty light. Instead, it was as dazzling as a flame. It filled his eyes, but it disappeared in a flash. That's right, it's her. She's the young clan leader. I can't be wrong. Qin Shui was stunned. This young lady was the young clan leader? If he didn't hear wrongly, she seemed to have called Yun Luofeng Master before. Master, who is this old pervert? Lin Ruabai pursed her lips and tilted her head to look at Yun Luofeng. She immediately noticed little Mo, who was standing beside Yun Luofeng. Thus, her eyes immediately lit up. Little Mo was still thinking about the problem, but when he looked up, he found that Lin Ruabai had already rushed in front of him, hugged his neck tightly, and kissed him on the lip. Little Mo was completely dumbfounded by what he saw. His first kiss was taken away by this girl? Although Lin Ruabai had kissed him before, she had kissed his cheek. This time, she actually kissed his lips? Little Mo, I missed you so much. Lin Ruabai giggled. Now that I've recovered, I have to fulfill my promise to marry you. Chapter 1683. Xiao Mo blushed. If it was a few years ago, he would have rejected Little White's words in front of everyone. But now he was so shy that he couldn't say a word. In particular, the girl's soft and sweet lips made him want to kiss them again. It's you. Lin Ruabai finally saw Su Jun. Her cute little face immediately fell. Although Lin Ruabai had lost her memories in the past, she still remembered everything that had happened during that period of time. She also knew that Su Jun had been pestering her. Su Jun had originally wanted to take this opportunity to escape, but who knew that Lin Ruabai's words would cause everyone's gaze to converge on Su Jun, forcing him to stop in his tracks, his handsome face turning deathly pale. Humph! Lin Ruabai put her hands on her hips and raised her chin proudly. Back then, I lost my memory and was ignorant of everything. That's why I was deceived by someone like you and lived with you for a year. What's funny is that you want me to leave Master. My Master is not only my savior, but also my achievements today are all thanks to her teachings. Lin Ruabai became angrier the more she thought about it. She wanted to slap herself. Why did she believe such a person? She even caused trouble for her master. At this point, Lin Ruabai paused for a moment before continuing. Aside from this, my master is my only relative other than my parents. What right do you have to make me abandon my family and follow you? In an instant, everyone's eyes were focused on Su Jun's face. Their eyes were filled with surprise, disbelief, and anger. Of course, the last angry look came from Qin Shui. Lin Ruabai still didn't know what happened and was still listing Su Jun's crimes. Moreover, I already have Xiao Mo. It's even more impossible for me to like you. The only husband I want to marry is Xiao Mo. But you bastard, you want to harm my master and Xiao Mo because of this. I will never let you go. Su Jun's face turned from green to white, then from white to green. Qin Shui screamed and rushed towards Su Jun. She kicked Su Jun's chest and sent him flying. That was not enough. She had already rushed to Su Jun and punched him in the face. Tears of anger flowed from her eyes. Bastard, you lied to me, you actually lied to me. Qin Shui shouted herself hoarse, wishing that she could vent all of her anger on Su Jun. If it weren't for you, my sister wouldn't have died, so many people from the sacred maiden tribe wouldn't have died, and I wouldn't have been implicated. It's all because of you, you bastard, who spread lies to avenge your personal grudge. That's why you've harmed so many people. Su Jun was beaten to the point where he had no strength to resist. In a short moment, his handsome face swelled up like a pig's head, and fresh blood flowed out of his mouth. Lin Ruabai looked at Yun Luofeng in confusion. Master, what exactly is going on? At this moment, little Mo had gradually regained his composure. He walked to Yun Luofeng's side, but his eyes were still on Lin Ruabai. Xiao Bai, it's like this. Next, little Mo told Lin Ruabai about the matter. When Lin Ruabai learned that he was the successor of the sacred maiden tribe and that Su Jun had used this matter to frame Yun Luofeng, his anger was instantly ignited, and he angrily turned to Qin Shui. Get out of my way. Let me do it. Anyone who bullied Master deserved to die. Chapter 1684. Qin Shui was stunned for a moment. Before she could react, she saw Lin Ruabai's body flying towards Su Jun. A heart-wrenching scream echoed through the clouds and lingered for a long time. Su Jun's face was pale from the pain and he almost fainted. If it wasn't for his strong willpower, he would have died from the pain. Little Mo looked at Lin Ruabai in a daze. Her body shivered involuntarily. Master, I think if I marry Xiao Bai, I can't provoke her in the future. Otherwise, even if I don't die, I will lose half my life. Yun Luofeng curled his lips and looked at little Mo with a smile that was not a smile. It seemed that little Mo had tacitly agreed to marry Lin Ruabai as her husband. Coincidentally, Lin Ruabai's foot landed on Su Jun's crotch. Coupled with the fact that she was flying through the air, the force of her attack was unimaginable. Blood even flowed from his crotch, staining the ground red. Who asked you to bully my master and frame her? Lin Ruabai's eyes flashed red. With a bang, her small fist landed on Su Jun's body. Boom! A large part of Su Jun's chest caved in. It was obvious that Lin Ruabai's fist had broken his ribs, and there was no way to repair them. Su Jun's mouth continued to bleed. He looked at Lin Ruabai with fear in his eyes and said in a muffled voice, I saved you in the past, humph. Lin Ruabai snorted softly. Her small fists continued to land on Su Jun's face, causing him to be unable to utter another word. That's right, you did save me when I lost my memory, but you thought that I liked you. You even framed my master because of this. It seems that you had an ulterior motive for taking me in. Even if I disregard this, I will never forgive you for bullying my master. So what if she was ungrateful? Even if she was cursed by the world, she would never forgive anyone who bullied her master. Yun Luofeng retracted his gaze from Lin Ruabai's body. His evil eyes stared at Qin Shui. Where are my people? Qin Shui's face paled. These days, in order to force Yi Qi to betray Yun Luofeng, she had sent people to torture her. If Yun Luofeng were to see Yi Qi, who knew what methods he would use to torture her? Qin Shui, tell me, where is the girl you captured? The faces of several elders of the sacred maiden tribe sank, and they scolded sternly. Only now did the elders realize that they had misunderstood Yun Luofeng and had almost attacked the young patriarch's master. In the eyes of the few elders, this was insubordination. All of this was because Qin Shui trusted others too easily. If that girl was harmed in the Sacred Maiden tribe, the anger of the young patriarch and Miss Yun could be imagined. Qin Shui was silent as she kept thinking about countermeasures. She had indeed been torturing Yi Qi for the past few days, but it was not very serious. Perhaps Yun Luofeng would spare her life in the end? Just as she was thinking about how to free herself, the elders were already impatient and turned their eyes to the other disciples of the Sacred Maiden tribe. "Where is the woman that Qin Shui brought back?" Reporting to Elder Green Shirt, a woman walked out slowly. This woman was the one who had gone to the prison to look for Su Jun and handed Yi Qi a piece of clothing. Chapter 1685. That lady is locked up in a cell, but... She paused, not knowing if she should say those things. Yun Luofeng's heart skipped a beat. Did something happen to Yi Qi? Take me to the cell right now. Yi Qi was her parents' adopted daughter. If something really happened to her, everyone in the Yi family would mourn for her. That was something she did not want to see. The woman pondered for a while and finally said it. "Elder, after Lady Qin Shui brought Miss Yi back, she forced her to betray Miss Yun, who knew that Miss Yi would rather die than obey, so Lady Qin Shui used torture on her." Torture? Several elders frowned. They did not know if the torture was serious. If it was not serious, perhaps they could plead for mercy and spare Qin Shui's life. After all, they had watched Qin Shui grow up. How could they bear to kill her? At most, she would be kicked out of the Sacred Maiden tribe. Unfortunately, they didn't know that Yun Luofeng had always been someone who would pay back 100-fold for hurting her. Not to mention that Yi Qi was punished. Even if it was just a strand of hair, she wouldn't easily forgive Qin Shui. But the woman looked at the elder carefully. "When I went to find Su Jun was raping Miss Yi. At that time, Miss Yi was naked and her face was full of tears. But I don't know if Su Jun succeeded." When she thought of Su Jun's beastly behavior, she felt a little indignant. The people of the Sacred Maiden tribe could not bear to see a man tarnishing a woman's innocence. Even killing Yi Qi was better than forcibly taking her. Boom! Yun Luofeng's mind suddenly exploded. His anger spread out, and his entire person seemed to be filled with murderous intent. Su Jun actually tarnished Yi Qi? Good, very good. Anyone who was involved in this matter, she would not let go of a single person. "Xiao Mo, you and the others keep an eye on the people of the Sacred Maiden tribe. No one is allowed to leave," Yun Luofeng ordered. She then turned to the disciple of the Sacred Maiden tribe coldly. "Take me to the cell." She did not forget what the disciple of the Sacred Maiden tribe had said before. Qin Shui forced Yi Qi to betray her, but Yi Qi refused. She would rather endure torture and be tarnished than betray her. Therefore, at this moment, no matter how big the dispute between him and Yi Qi was, it all disappeared with this sentence. "Yes, Miss Yun," the disciples of the Sacred Maiden tribe said respectfully. In the cell, Yi Qi had put on the clothes that the disciples of the Sacred Maiden tribe had thrown to her. Her body was curled up in the corner, and her delicate body was trembling. Her face was full of tears. She bit her lips tightly and stared at the door without blinking. Creak, the door to the cell was pushed open. Sunlight shone into the cell and shone on the woman's tear-stained face. At the door, Bai Yi walked in slowly like a god descending from the sky. He appeared in Yi Qi's eyes. Yi Qi, who had been pretending to be strong these days, finally collapsed the moment she saw the woman. She forced herself to stand up, but she staggered a few times and finally fell to the ground. However, just as she was about to fall, a hand reached out from behind and gently held her body. Yi Qi wanted to say something, but before she could, Yun Luofeng stuffed a pill into her mouth. The fragrance of the medicine flowed into her mouth, making her body feel much more comfortable. "Thank you," Yi Qi bit her lip and looked up at the woman who was holding her. Chapter 1686. "Thank you for saving me." This time, her thanks were very sincere, and her tearful eyes were very serious. "You don't have to thank me." Yun Luofeng paused and continued, You are a member of the Yi family. It is only right for me to save you. Besides, you didn't betray me, did you? Yi Qi smiled. This smile was equivalent to throwing away the past grievances from the bottom of her heart. I will remember your kindness. In the future I will repay you. Yun Luofeng raised his eyebrows. In fact, if it weren't for me, the people of the Sacred Maiden tribe would not have caught you, but you still came to save me after all. Yi Qi slowly left Yun Luofeng's embrace, and looked at the Sacred Maiden tribe disciple who brought Yun Luofeng. If you hadn't come in time, I might have been killed by Su Jun, she said very seriously. And you, who could have ignored it, handed me the clothes. So, I will remember this for the rest of my life. She was not a person who did not know how to repay kindness. If others helped her, she would never refuse if they needed her help in the future. The Sacred Maiden tribe disciple smiled slightly. You have already repaid the kindness. After all, she was Qin Shui's subordinate. She should be punished for making such a mistake. But Yi Qi's inadvertent words could save her life. Hearing this, Yi Qi's eyes were very confused. She did not understand what the Sacred Maiden tribe disciple meant. Yun Luofeng turned to the Sacred Maiden tribe disciple. Even though his face was as cold as ever, it no longer gave her a sense of oppression. Please take care of my sister. I still have some things to deal with. Sister. Yi Qi's body stiffened. Yun Luofeng had been in the Yi family for 5 or 6 years, but this was the first time he had acknowledged her as his sister. And this form of address warmed Yi Qi's heart. Knowing that Su Jun did not succeed, Yun Luofeng's heart fell back into his stomach. However, he still had some debts to settle, above the clouds in the clan gate. Su Jun had been beaten half to death, and the blood in his mouth did not stop. Little Mo could not help but wonder if this guy would die from vomiting blood. Su Jun, I didn't expect you to do such a thing. You dare to defile my master's sister? Lin Ruobai raised his eyebrows and exerted more force. She also heard the words of the disciple of the Sacred Maiden tribe clearly, and her heart was even angrier. If she didn't beat this bastard to death, she wouldn't be able to dispel the hatred in her heart. The people of the Sacred Maiden tribe looked at the girl standing on Su Jun's chest and couldn't help but shiver. They didn't expect that the young clan leader, who looked so innocent and cute, would be so ruthless. All the bones in Su Jun's body had been broken by her, but she still didn't give up. She wanted to beat him to death. At this moment, Yun Luofeng returned. Her silhouette landed in front of Qin Shui. Her evil black eyes were filled with a cold, murderous intent. How many people went to Wuhui continent? Who had been torturing Yi Qi recently? Tell them to step forward immediately. Qin Shui's heart skipped a beat. She gritted her teeth and said, Miss Yun, my subordinates and I are indeed at fault. However, this matter should be dealt with by the elders and young clan leader. Could it be that you want to overstep your authority? She understood that if she fell into Yun Luofeng's hands, her life would be worse than death. It was better to accept the punishment of the Sacred Maiden tribe. Yun Luofeng narrowed her eyes slightly, and a dangerous light flashed in her eyes as she laughed silently. You mean that I don't have the right to punish you? Qin Shui's eyes darkened a few times. I only listened to the young clan leader and a few elders. Chapter 1687. Lin Ruobai's face was red with anger as she glared at Qin Shui. She is my master. Her words are my words. You said that I am the young master of the Sacred Maiden tribe, so you must all listen to my master. Xiao Bai. Yun Luofeng glanced at Lin Ruobai and stopped her. He then turned his gaze to Qin Shui. Now, I will not mention my relationship with Xiao Bai. I am just avenging my sister. I have said before that if she loses 1 hair, I will kill 1 person. If she loses 2 hairs, I will kill 2 people until the entire Sacred Maiden tribe is killed. The elders looked embarrassed but did not dare to say a word. They could only glare at Qin Shui fiercely. Qin Shui, if she wants to punish you, let her punish you. Who made the young master of the tribe become her disciple? Qin Shui was not convinced. Why should she kill one of the sacred maiden tribe just because she loses one hair? Yes, I have wronged you, and I am willing to accept punishment. However, the sins of the sacred maiden tribe do not warrant death. At most, you will pay me back for how I treated her these days. What if I insist on killing the sacred maiden tribe? Yun Luofeng, you can't be reasonable. Reasonable? Yun Luofeng laughed. She was amused by Qin Shui. The sacred maiden tribe should have sent someone to investigate my background. I wonder if you have found out about my reputation in the mainland? Yun Luofeng raised his eyes and looked at Qin Shui. When have I ever been reasonable? Who can stop me from killing the person I want to kill? Wasn't that right? Ever since Yun Luofeng came to this world, he had been a spoiled brat. You want to reason with her? Sorry, she has never been a reasonable person. If you step on her, she will chop off your foot. If you hurt her, she will return it 100 times. Revenge for revenge? This had never happened to her before. If you don't tell me who went to the no-return continent to capture Yi Qi, then I will find other ways to make you talk. Yun Luofeng smiled evilly and approached Qin Shui. Qin Shui was horrified and quickly retreated. Yun Luofeng, don't do anything rash. This is the sacred maiden tribe. The few elders wanted to protect Qin Shui's life, but they had only taken 2 steps forward when they heard Lin Ruobai's angry voice. If you 3 old fellows dare to intervene in this matter, even if I die, I will never step into the sacred maiden tribe again. The few elders were startled and subconsciously stopped in their tracks. Compared to Qin Shui's life, Lin Ruobai's return was more important. Qin Shui finally panicked. Why did she dare to treat Yun Luofeng so forcefully? She was certain that the 3 elders would protect her life. Who would have thought that one sentence from Lin Ruobai would cause them to fall silent? No, don't come over. I'll talk. Without the protection of the 3 elders, Qin Shui's nerves collapsed and she hurriedly said. Although she would die if she said anything, she understood that if she didn't say anything, she would be better off dead than alive. Why did she have to suffer pain worse than death for those people? I said, I'll tell you everything, please don't torture me. Yun Luofeng's lips curled up into a smile. Compared to death, living worse than death was more terrifying. You immediately asked the people who went to the no-return continent to come forward, including the people who tortured Yi Qi these days. Yun Luofeng's gaze slowly turned to milk tea and the beasts. I want these people, not a single one of them will be left alive. It was fine to say that she was cruel or heartless. She just wanted to protect her loved ones. For this, even if she was reviled by the world, she was fearless. What's more, she didn't think that her actions were wrong. She wanted the world to know that those who hurt her loved ones couldn't escape death. Chapter 1688. Qin Shui's body slumped to the ground. Even the maidservant disciples who had participated in this matter had looks of despair. The elder in green's face was pale. He looked up at Yun Luofeng and asked, Miss Yun, these people are our maidservant disciples. I don't know, can you give me some face and give them a quick death? If the elder in green asked Yun Luofeng to let these people go, then Yun Luofeng would never do as he wished. But what he proposed was to give them a quick death. Yun Luofeng muttered to himself for a moment, I can give them a quick death, but it's not because of you. The elder in green's face stiffened and he sighed heavily. Indeed, they had wanted to kill Yun Luofeng. Why would she give them face? But Yun Luofeng looked up at the elder in green. I will give Xiao Bai's mother face and not let them suffer too much. In any case, the elder in green's goal had been achieved, and he breathed a sigh of relief. Master, Lin Ruobai had tortured them enough. She looked disdainfully at the half-dead Su Jun and turned to walk towards Yun Luofeng. Her arm was hooked around the woman in front of her, and her large eyes were full of grievance. You want to leave me here with the maidservant tribe? Yun Luofeng did not speak. Master, Lin Ruobai was anxious. Her whole body hung on Yun Luofeng, and tears of grievance almost fell down. I don't want anyone but you. I don't want to be with these people who want to bully you. Don't think of leaving me here." Even if she was shameless, she would stay by her master's side and never leave. The three elders did not speak. In their view, the maidservant tribe was so powerful that Yun Luofeng could not give up. She would definitely keep Lin Ruobai here. Unexpectedly, after Yun Luofeng heard Lin Ruobai's words, his heart softened. "If you don't want to stay, then I can let you leave with me." The reason why she wanted Lin Ruobai to stay with the maidservant tribe was because this was her mother's home. However, she would not force Lin Ruobai to do anything. Lin Ruobai's face curved into a smile, and her eyes were full of light. In comparison, the expressions of the elders were not very good. Perhaps they had not expected that Yun Luofeng would allow Lin Ruobai to leave. It must be known that Yun Luofeng was Lin Ruobai's master, and Lin Ruobai obeyed her. If Lin Ruobai became the Sacred Maiden tribe leader, wouldn't it be equivalent to the Sacred Maiden tribe falling into her hands? How could she refuse such generous terms? "Young clan leader, you can't leave." The cyan-robed elder's expression changed. He looked at Yun Luofeng with contempt, but his tone was very respectful. "Miss Yun, please help me persuade the young matriarch. The Sacred Maiden tribe cannot be without a leader for a day. She is the daughter of the matriarch, so she should be the leader of the Sacred Maiden tribe." His words were already very clear. If Lin Ruobai stayed in the Sacred Maiden tribe, the Sacred Maiden tribe would be at Lin Ruobai's disposal. As for the small tree, his strength was indeed very strong, causing the three of them to feel a little afraid. But he was a treant. The people of the Sacred Maiden tribe were born with the ability to control the tree men. The reason why the tree men obeyed Yun Luofeng's orders was probably because of the young patriarch. Therefore, they did not put Yun Luofeng in their eyes. It was just that this woman's luck was better. She was able to find the young matriarch among all the living beings on the mainland, and she even gained the trust of the young matriarch. Chapter 1689. Lin Ruobai curled her lips. She was no longer the person who had lost her memory. How could she not see the disdain these people had for Yun Luofeng? But when she was about to get angry, Yun Luofeng pulled her back. Yun Luofeng shook his head and looked up at the three elders. "Why do you think that I will be willing to persuade Xiao Bai to stay?" The elder in green paused slightly. How could he say what he was thinking in front of the young matriarch? "Do you think that I will covet the power of the Sacred Maiden tribe?" Yun Luofeng's lips curled up as his eyes swept across the crowd. "If Xiao Bai does not want to stay, I will not force her. If she is willing to stay with the Sacred Maiden tribe, I will not stop her. Moreover, Xiao Bai is my disciple. Even if she wants the entire 7 continents, I will take it down and give it to her." The woman's voice was arrogant and ostentatious, and it heavily smashed into the hearts of many people. "Fire, take care of everyone involved in the kidnapping, and bring Yi Qi to the Jun family." Yun Luofeng slowly turned around and took Lin Ruobai's little hand. "Xiao Bai, let's go." "Okay." Lin Ruobai smiled brightly, revealing 2 canine teeth. She was innocent and cute. In this life, she was only willing to follow her master to battle on the battlefield, and this Sacred Maiden tribe was not where she belonged. Wait. The 3 elders were anxious and wanted to stop Lin Ruobai, but at this moment, a cold and evil voice came with the wind. "Xiao Shu, whoever dares to stop us from leaving will be killed without mercy." Hearing these words, the 3 elders stopped. If they fought to the death, they might be able to defeat Xiao Shu. Coupled with the Sacred Maiden tribe's trump card, they could completely keep Lin Ruobai here. However, in this way, the Sacred Maiden tribe would also suffer a great loss. Was it worth it? The young matriarch was still young, and it would take more than a few years to cultivate. If the Sacred Maiden tribe lost those trump cards, coupled with the 3 of them being injured, they would definitely be taken advantage of by strong enemies and would anger the young matriarch. This was obviously not a good deal. After the 3 elders calculated in their hearts, they no longer stopped Lin Ruobai from leaving. They could only watch as her figure disappeared. Little White, do you regret not choosing to stay with the Sacred Maiden tribe? Above the mountain range, Yun Luofeng stopped and turned to look at the young girl beside him. Lin Ruabai shook his head. If I stay in the Sacred Maiden tribe, I will at most be the tribe leader of the Sacred Maiden tribe. Only by following Master can I explore the wider world. At this moment, Lin Ruabai had made a decision that she would never regret. Actually, if you had stayed, perhaps you would have been able to find traces of your mother. This was also the reason why Yun Luofeng had hesitated in the beginning. But in the end, she still chose to respect Lin Ruabai's decision. Lin Ruabai revealed a brilliant smile. Master, if it were you, would you join a faction that isn't free in order to find your parents? There were too many rules and regulations in the Sacred Maiden tribe. Just the rule of not marrying was something that Lin Ruabai could not bear. Therefore, if Yun Luofeng were in Lin Ruabai's position, her choice would be no different. I believe that I can find my mother on my own. Lin Ruabai blinked. She looked at little Mo, who had followed her from the mountain, and her smile became even brighter. Besides, I will marry little Mo as my husband. Why should I stay with the Sacred Maiden tribe? Little Mo had just walked to Yun Luofeng's side when he heard Lin Ruabai's words. His handsome face turned red and he glared at Lin Ruabai. Chapter 1690. You're the one who's marrying me, not the other way around. He was a man after all. Lin Ruabai kept saying that he wanted to marry me. Isn't this too embarrassing? Lin Ruabai glared at him and placed his hands on his hips. I don't care. On the day of our wedding, you'll put on a red veil and I'll hold your hand as we consummate our marriage. Master, look at her. Xiao Mo turned towards Yun Luofeng with an aggrieved look and complained pitifully. Yun Luofeng shrugged his shoulders. This is your business. You can discuss it among yourselves. I won't make any comments. If you can't agree to it, you can have a fight on the bed. I'll listen to whoever wins. I'm a man, how could I hit a woman? Besides, why would we have to fight on the bed? Little Mo, who had a puzzled look on his face, suddenly reacted. His handsome face flushed red, and he felt as if steam was coming out of his head. Master, you're so bad. However, by the time Xiao Mo had finished speaking, Yun Luofeng had already walked far away. He and Lin Ruabai hurriedly chased after him. The hidden divine mountain. A powerful energy could be felt faintly from the depths of the mountain range. Those with weaker powers would not even be able to lift their feet upon reaching the depths of the mountain. At this moment, in a palace in the hidden divine mountain, a beautiful woman dressed in a long black robe crouched down and carefully observed the handsome, unconscious man in front of her. This man was very handsome. His demonic features made him look like a god from the heavens. One look from him was enough to make a person sink into him. Tsk. The woman caressed the man's face with her hand and murmured softly, I haven't seen a man with such looks in many years. If I can spend the rest of my life with him, I won't have any complaint. Speaking of which, she had picked up this man from the depths of the hidden divine mountain. That day, she had seen this man with severe injuries and was unconscious. Perhaps it was because he was lonely, or perhaps it was because he was too beautiful. She had picked him up and brought him back. That way, she would have someone to keep her company for the rest of her life. No, this man's background is unknown. If I want him to stay here forever, I can only use that method. The beautiful woman's eyes darted around and her lips curled into an evil smile. She gently closed her eyes and with a bang, a wave of spiritual energy shot into the man's mind. At this moment, the beautiful woman's face instantly turned pale and large beads of sweat rolled down her face. At this moment, all of the man's memories flashed before the beautiful woman's eyes like flowing water. It turned out that this man was called Bai Su, and he wasn't from this continent. He had an enemy named Yun Xiao. Even though this Yun Xiao was equally handsome, and was even more handsome than Bai Su, that man was too cold, and always had a poker face. Compared to him, she still preferred a man like Bai Su who was bewitching. Of course, it would be best if he could get both of them. Oh right, Bai Su still had an enemy named Yun Luofeng. However, as an enemy, she could feel Bai Su's hatred towards Yun Shao, but she could not feel his anger towards Yun Luofeng. The beautiful woman was shocked and hurriedly withdrew her spiritual energy. However, as she withdrew her spiritual energy, she did not forget to leave an indelible mark in Bai Su's mind. This mark would allow Bai Su to treat himself as the woman who had left the deepest impression on him. Regardless of whether he loved this woman deeply or not, as long as she had left a deep impression on him, Bai Su would treat himself as that woman and fall deeply in love with her.